I mean, they're different, but the foreman's less than the tenant.
And I went all the way
You're all
out,
set,
the
right?
whole length, all the way
Okay,
out.
very good. All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the meeting, work session, excuse me, of the Weare Board of Selectmen for June 12th. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, looks like considerable amount of stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4 is Mr. Fisk. So come on up. Secondary oil, etc. Or what are you handing out?
This is for the secondary on the calcium chloride.
Okay, so this is bullet 3.
That's pretty much all I got for you.
That's all I need to see.
So what you got in front of you, the first email is from Hazardous Waste Department of DES. Basically, I asked him if we needed secondary containment for this, and he said nothing on his end. Contact the Drinking Water, Groundwater Bureau for a final nod. So I did. That's the second email you got there, and more of the same. They had some conversations between them, New Hampshire DOT, and some other
Not regulated.
requirements, and nothing. I spoke with the vendor as well. He said that he's never had to do anything for anybody else, so.
They don't even have one at their facility with the big tanks.
Yeah, I talked to him. He said he'd talk to you as well.
Yeah, because I'm interested in doing something myself. So
Yeah.
Since I was talking to him, I said, hey,
Well, I got you on the blower.
you know,
Yeah.
it'd make a
Yeah.
difference if I do it too, if I could have secondary containment.
Exactly.
Okay. All right, then I think we probably move forward with it now that we've got this information.
I feel comfortable with
I
it.
feel comfortable with it. All right, so I will move that we award the dust control bid to All States Construction at a liquid calcium chloride rate of $1.40 per gallon with a 1,000-gallon skid tank, pump and sprayer, and a 3,000-gallon storage tank to be on site at our location for a total of currently $13,182.51, which gets us the tank and the sprayer. Is that correct?
Yep.
And then obviously it's $1.40 per gallon.
Yep.
And you're expecting roughly 8 to 1,000 per mile?
Yeah.
Perfect, okay.
Where's the money come from?
That's gonna come out of the, is it road reconstruction?
Maintenance.
We have gravel road maintenance.
Gravel road maintenance fund? Gravel road maintenance line? There it is, gravel road maintenance line. Is there a second?
Second.
Moving second, and all in favor? Aye? Opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstentions?
I'm gonna abstain.
Okay,
I think I'm gonna abstain too.
okay. So, just a roll call. Sherry, yes?
Yeah.
Salem was abstain, Ricky was a yes.
Yes.
Benji, yes, and Kevin was abstention.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay.
And that's, I said it at the last meeting, but to say it here, like, I live on a dirt road, I deal with this every single day, and I don't wanna, like, vote for something that's gonna benefit myself that directly.
That directly?
Yeah.
Okay, understood. Okay, oil containment, or you got
I
anything
got
for that?
nothing further for you on that.
Okay, all right.
Why did we put it on there then?
I don't exactly remember why.
Well, we had this that was passed out.
Yeah, and that was the discussion of putting it under the lean-to of the salt shed.
Yep.
Yep,
Yeah, and we wanted to get some more numbers on it. I haven't been able to get any.
okay.
Yep.
All right.
Sandy-
Oh, you know why?
Sandy's been
Because
out
we were
for
gonna,
3 weeks.
we were gonna three-side it.
Yeah.
That's why we're thinking
Yeah.
about, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
And Ricky, I think it falls in underneath the if,
Just-
with this,
Yep.
the size,
yep,
was my recollection why I did here.
right, and
We're gonna put together an RFP on that.
Yep.
Right.
okay, Anything on River Road? No?
Nothing yet.
Naomi, you got anything for River Road?
Did you talk to Tom about a meeting?
Talked to them about it. We haven't met yet, so I don't wanna.
Okay.
What are we waiting on? What step are we at right now?
We gotta meet and see if the state will accept the new fix.
The new fix.
Yeah.
Right, because they did the old fix, but,
Whether it'll be one-sided or two-sided.
Right.
As
right.
long as they can give us the nod on that will be okay with them, then
All right.
Any timeline, guesstimate?
I'm hoping within the next couple weeks, I'll have 2 meetings, so. Probably won't end up being the next regular meeting, but,
Next work session, maybe.
July 3rd.
yeah. I mean, I don't know how, if you guys wanna actually go into a work session for it or not, but,
Oh, like an off night type thing.
well, I mean, if I have it ready in 2 weeks, then you guys are gonna have a work session. If you wanna wait till the next regular board meeting to
No,
address it.
we can do a work session, we gotta get that rolling.
Because you've got the 19th, the 26th, and July 3rd.
Right.
So the 19th is regular, 26th is work session, July 3rd is regular.
Right. Yeah, so whenever, just let us know.
Okay.
We'll get you in. Other than the solid waste ordinance, I don't see nothing else that we got Jason for. You guys, no? You wanna stick around for that, or no?
I can hang out for a minute.
Okay, all right.
The thing you're waiting for with the state on the bridge, is that something that Tom's putting together? Or-
So Tom's he obviously sent those pictures over to me to help explain to you guys a little bit better. But he's putting an actual set of work drawings together,
Okay.
so we can actually show them.
Something with a stamp on it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Let's see that.
All right, well, I guess we can do one more easy one before we get too carried away.
That, I don't have that.
I gotta find that waste ordinance.
It was buried in my.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. Gotta find the waste ordinance.
That ordinance came with 5 other copies that I gave you guys. I handed them out a while ago.
Right, no, I realize that, I just
But
gotta
everything
find it.
else, I don't have that.
Back to the Chase Park.
Yep.
Oh, Weare Recycling, I must be getting
I'm on the
close.
road all day straight here, so I don't have my normal notepads.
Recycling, oh, that's the other thing, compactor.
I don't have it.
You looking for this, Ricky? Are you looking for this one or the
I
attachment?
know I have that one somewhere, that's where I'm looking for right now. Somewhere in the stack of junk,
It's been a while.
yeah, oh, now we're looking at, oh, I think I'm getting close. I got other towns, so I'm assuming it's probably in this package.
Yeah,
I
there
must
you go.
have.
We're gonna be talking about that later, so I might as well grab that now.
Have it.
Okay. All right, I think we're caught up now. All right. All right, we'll do the manifest. Order the treasurer to sign payroll accounts payables checks dated June 15th, 2023, as including the following manifest. A payroll manifest of $72,707.48 for weekly payroll, and accounts payable of $177,394.67 for a total of $250,102.15. Is there a second?
Second.
Moving seconded, all in favor? Yes. Okay,
Should we get the email for my well, I texted Naomi because I couldn't get my email to work this afternoon.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I can't, Apple doesn't let me go from text to email. So I typed it for you.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
I could not, Beth tried it too.
I was on the road 11 hours, I went straight from there to here, so I didn't even
Yeah,
been
so
to where my
that's-
folder is.
Yeah, I added the bottom paragraph, but the top is what you texted me.
Naomi, do you have an extra copy of that? Tell them where.
I may.
I have every other one here, but I don't have that one.
You have which other one? Because I gave you Hampton Falls, Francistown,
Yeah.
Guilford.
Yeah, and I think what I did
Belmont.
was, I pulled those out by mistake, because they're none of those, that group's here.
You wanna make a copy of this one, Judy?
Yeah, that's the one I probably should have.
I may need one, because I don't see ours in here.
Yeah,
All right.
Yeah, I guess I need
Yeah.
one.
One there.
Let me go.
Do you need another one? That's only one, there's two different
Yeah.
things to it.
Two different things to it, right, so, I can go make copies, no big deal.
What's the second part?
Because there's the recycling
Yeah, the
rules
recycling.
and regulations, it's a one-page
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And then there's,
Yep, okay.
there's
You have that
this
one, yeah?
solid waste flow ordinance. Want me to go do it?
I'll go get it. Okay.
I don't know, I must have pulled them out all together thinking they were,
Yeah. How many do you need? Sherry, you need one, Salem, you all set?
I'm good.
I'll take one, yeah.
Kevin, you all set?
I'm all set. I got paper and paper.
Yeah, we couldn't, Benji, we couldn't get the text to go to a
right.
message.
Yeah, no,
That's
sorry
fine,
about that.
I tried, that's okay.
I didn't even get,
'Cause
you
I
guys
tried
have sent any
copying it.
emails over the weekend, I haven't gotten any, I'll have to figure it out tomorrow. I have,
Because I tried copying it, and then I know you can copy it and then re-text it. But Beth tried it, but she has, I think, Android. And she said that hers has that feature, mine doesn't. So I just took a minute and typed what you put in there. Typed it just how you said it, so.
well, I'm sure,
Oh, you can't use that copier. The copier has no toner.
it was doing something when I came in, beeping or something.
Yeah, because it's got no toner. And I wonder how long I let him struggle with that one, right? I'll go upstairs.
spell check made administrator, administration, and it says position answers directly to.
Got it.
That's always fun. Was it full? Yeah. Fred did that a couple times. They're hard to get off the ground after. Weare doesn't have a loader big enough to pick a full trailer up.
No.
Yeah,
Truck still hooked to it.
that's why it started staying up to it, because the last time there was no truck under it, and that
Next
was,
thing it's on its nose.
yeah,
Yeah.
Weare don't have stuff big enough.
No, hook the hydraulics.
Luckily, we
start
had that
pushing
old, luckily, we had that old Trojan loader back then, and as big of a turd as it was, it would pick. So we got that and a Hyundai under it.
it Side by each. and-
Yeah, Jeff Denning got about a 4-mile run backwards, he slammed into it.
That was a minute or two ago.
Yeah. I wasn't gonna write with one this big either. We can cut a bunch out just for the newspaper. I didn't know. Most of the stuff is in the job description, so.
Thank you, yeah.
Killian wanted one, that's why I was gonna make another one.
Thank you.
All right, so where do we want to go currently? Do we want to do the solid waste ordinance while we got Jason here?
Sure.
Okay, that's what we'll do. Okay. All right, do we want to do the short one first, the recycling? It's only a page and a little bit.
Yep.
Well, did anybody get a chance to review the, I think it was 5 or 6 other towns? Some of them were applicable, some not very applicable. Only because they had municipal pickup. So, did anybody get a chance to look at those?
Not really, no.
Okay.
I skimmed them. I think I left them out.
Basically, what we currently have, okay, and why we're doing this is because they're dated, and they were more or less, if you compare what we have to what's out there that is more contemporary versions, how they read is, for lack of a better word, less legal, okay? A lot of what is quoted and how it is worded in both the flow ordinance and the recycling ordinances were part of us adapting at that time from a landfill to a recycling and transfer station, right? So we were quoting state law regs, because we had joined the Concord Co-op, and it looks to me to be not something that we necessarily, the recycling one is pretty basic, but the solid waste ordinance one isn't as basic. My focus was on the Guilford, New Hampshire, had a lot of applicable stuff in it. So if we get a chance, I think everybody should take a look, maybe at that one. And it might not be tonight,
Okay.
but,
So you went through the other ones though, and,
yeah, and I came up with Guilford being a starting point if we're gonna start cutting and pasting. you know?
Okay,
That's
all right.
what I mean.
all right.
For me, personally, it's, what's the priority in the short run? Because I don't think this is gonna be a one-night slam dunk, to be quite honest.
Okay, yep.
I think the sticker program is now out there, and that's moving along nicely, which is all of them, quote, are mandatory. There's nobody that says stickers aren't mandatory, and there's nobody that says that residential use isn't mandatory. In other words, it's only for the residents, it's only for trash generated within the town. There is a gray area that I believe we do need to address, which is seasonal. People that are here seasonally that might not have their vehicles registered. So acquiring a sticker, you own a house on Lake Forest and you're spending the summer here, you're paying taxes, but technically you're not a resident of our town.
Right.
So that we'll need to address if we're gonna take mental notes or whatever within our ordinance, because it's currently not there. And the other thing is, are we going to offer, which we've said no before, but is in other ordinances, if you read the pile, or when you do read the pile, is landowners.
Hmm.
Do landowners have, because they're paying taxes? The problem we've had with that is that there's a lot of people in our town that own a remnant. They have a $4 tax bill. And our transfer station's handling it, so they just like to use it. So that, I think, is a point of discussion in regards to the stickers and how we incorporate that into our final ordinance. The next element is our private haulers, and we've had conversations about that before. We extended the permitting, and we basically asked if they would be comfortable with a percentage of recycling. I think we used a number of 30% a few months ago. Was it 30?
Yeah, it's 33, I think.
Yeah, 30 or 33,
Yeah.
yeah, close, yeah.
The only question that has come up regarding that is how do we calculate it, like everything else?
Can I ask a question? 33% of what we require, or 33% of the load?
of the load.
of the load.
Well, that was.
Wait, yeah, I'm just still
I mean,
listening, yeah.
That's what was previously sort of agreed upon, while we don't really have a firm policy. So is 33% of what you create at home recyclable? Bottles, can, paper, cardboard.
And what,
Well, that's the problem. That's the problem I've kind of had with the term 100% recycling, because almost everything's recyclable. But does every transfer station recycle it? No. I think, and I'm probably wrong, it's been a few years, but, you know, we have been recognized for the job we've done over the years, and I think Concord, which is a pay-as-you-throw, and I think they're cold mingle, I could be wrong, and I think they're under different direction now, but they were right up there in the state, and they're like 27%. I mean, you don't, everything's recyclable. They make compactors for boat shrink wrap, they make compactors for Walmart bags. That stuff's all recyclable, but we're not probably gonna do that.
No,
So
so
I
it
think it
was,
should be 100% or 80% of what Weare asked to recycle, because today we're not doing plastic bottles. Tomorrow we might. Tomorrow we might do 1s through 7s. Maybe something happens to oil and we only do 1s and 2s. Maybe we stop doing, so
so I
that
think,
market always changes, and we're never, ever gonna recycle everything that can be recycled. Food waste, I don't know, as we want the
no.
varmints up there, the Victors up there with food waste, but that's recyclable. So I think we gotta be careful saying, oh, but commercial haulers gotta do 100% of it because, or I mean, I'm sorry, 33% of the load, because you don't know what each house is bringing.
Well, that could be just a verbiage change of, like you said, 33% of what the town recycles. Has published for it to recycle, right? Which would be this list right here. Because like I say, I mean, if we could get to 100, you know, if we could call this the 100% mark, whether it's, like I said, the plastics, if we're not doing it, the glass, et cetera, we call that the 100% mark for Weare, then 33% of what, because I know what you mean, I mean.
I always like the term mandatory recycle, and to me what that means is you gotta recycle what we ask you to recycle. And today that might be no plastic, tomorrow that might be plastic. We might not take bottle caps, we might take bottle caps, but you never gonna, you put a number on stuff, you're gonna have I don't like that part of this. And I didn't mean to cut.
so we might be getting a little off topic, as far as what I was starting with, was the municipal haulers are licensed.
Mhm.
We give them a permit. Some towns, if you read through this, that allow for private haulers to use their transfer stations. A few of them, the majority of them don't. There's one or two that do. Majority of them have nearby scales. Belmont, they send them to Laconia scales, okay? But the ones that do are pretty specific about checking in with an attendant, they need their permit, you know, our permit is very specific to ensure that the trash is coming from in the town. They would ask the vendor to give us their client list. More specific about what vehicles, so you don't get mixed match of vehicles pulling in. Oh, I work for so-and-so, right? There's just more detail in there. The other thing is that evidently there's a state license for private haulers? Yeah. And the private haulers supply us with a copy of that. That would be a requirement. That's noted in some of these too, which I never knew of. I never even heard. Yeah.
It's free too, so it's not like it costs any money to apply for it.
Yeah, but it's just to make sure that they're up to date and registered with the state. Regardless of the quantity of recycling, like what we say is, it's just how we're gonna ask our attendant to make that calculation that they're working within a reasonable level. So if we're using, for instance, commercial trucks, there's a recycling bin and there's a trash bin, right? So it's very easy to tell, okay, how much recycling are we getting, right? Take a look, right? With the private haulers, a lot of them are hauling in small pickup trucks, and it's sort of a mixed bag of stuff. So almost impossible to say to Jason, make sure that he's bringing us at least 20%, right? So you stand in the back of a pickup truck, what bags are recycling, what bags are carbon, you know, where's that 20% mark, right? It's just, it's so subjective that it's almost impossible to enforce. And the other issue is, of course, is the same issue that every one of these emphasizes at great length, is that the trash has to be generated in this town. So if we have somebody that does a cleanup or a general project in an adjacent town and agrees with our fee structure, how do we know that it is coming from an adjacent town? Because even though our fee structure is created around trying to make our demolition trailer revolving count flat, right? We're not making money, but we have all these other costs that are involved in that. Everything from having to build the facility, to the box, to the backhoe, to the guy sitting on the backhoe, to the insurance, to everything else that goes with it, right? Our current rate of $110 per cubic yard of asphalt shingles is what we have to pay.
Right.
Okay, it doesn't include any of the other overhead, associated overhead. That is the tipping charge and the trucking charge. So, the other companies out there, the other people that are doing it, that aren't being subsidized by the taxpayer, have to charge more. Because they need to pay they need to get the staff paid and somebody to pay the mortgage and everything else. So, of course, the place to gravitate to is 110 a cubic yard. That isn't over a scale, that's an estimate, that favors the, so how do we avoid that too? You know, and how do we identify where it comes from?
I think, but I think to your point, Kevin, I think it's hard to do that. It's hard to do that and be 100% effective with it, because even you know, a neighbor from a town could do the same thing, right? Hey, I live in Weare, I'm giving you a hand demoing whatever, and then yeah, Ware's cheap to get rid of it. Let's just go over there. You know, I got a permit. I'm from Weare, whatever. So you never. I don't think you're ever going to get on the other side of that. To the point to say yes, every piece that we move is coming from Weare.
Well, some of them are specific.
I don't think you can ever get to
Some
that.
of them are specific, most of them are specific to whoever's dumping the demo needs to bring their building permit with them, have it available for the attendant.
But you don't have a building permit for shingles.
Yeah, you do.
No, you don't.
A re-roof?
You do? Since when?
He's charging now.
Huh?
Yeah,
It
we
is
do.
now.
When did that
When
happen?
did that go into effect?
That wasn't in effect here last year, because I asked.
Like I said,
I don't know.
I guess in past history, you know, someone's worked up there for something you're concerned about, you ask for the building permit.
right, and that's what Kevin was just saying.
Yeah, well, it was, but I mean, that's something that they can do now.
Right. Oh, it's in their wheelhouse.
Yeah, I mean, it's not something that,
Well, this is, believe me, you know, just slow down. I'm only putting out there the issues we have to address once we're ready to start to create a document, is how do we give Jason, Frank, and their staff the tools to actually execute what we're gonna ask them to execute? It's all well and good for us to write it, but we shouldn't write something we can't execute. That's my point. So if we wanna say, we don't care, or it doesn't matter, or we think it's such a minimal percentage that we're not gonna write it into an ordinance that we can't execute, then fine. But I'm just putting out, what are the, you know, I mean.
No, yeah.
If you take the half hour and read through these, it's, you know, it's just so specific to, and state law, by the way, is why it's so specific, is that we can only process material that is generated in this town, by law.
Right, and I'm not trying to blow holes in your theory. I'm just, I'm just trying to be like you said, if it's the cheap route, if anybody can do it, they're gonna take it. It's not just, you know, the commercial haulers or anything like that. But how do you do it short of a solid ordinance, which we have one, but it's dated, and B, you know, attendance to enforce it.
Well, the way, I mean, obviously, we have facilities in our town that will address the commercial side if we go that route. And then if a person's coming in and there's a sticker on their car, they're a resident, and they've done a re-roof of their house, then, you know, we can't say, oh, did you drive your truck to
Goffstown to go get
and
from your
do a
buddy?
re-roof?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's like, you know,
Yeah.
that would.
And that's what I mean, yeah.
If he was coming in every other week with a load or every, you know, weekend, then somebody might say,
Different story.
you're doing a whole lot of re-roofing there.
Well, and I agree
Yeah.
with you, and that's where somebody that hopefully get tenure up there and get the same attendant for more than 5 minutes, that's where that addresses that. I don't see, when we get somebody like, you know, when John and Matt were there for years, and people were there for years, I don't see that was a broken system. Last year or two there, when we changed hands, we've had hard time getting people to want to stay up there, but that'll get remedied, I believe. I don't see that all of those things are broken. It's dated, and we need to update it, but there's only so many things. If the same pickup, like you just said, brings in a load of shingles every other week, then I'm gonna say, fine, you didn't re-roof your house 3 times this
Yeah.
summer. But
Yeah, it is, and really.
to ask for a building permit every time a bucket of sheetrock comes in is a pain in the butt for,
And it's a distraction from our limited staff.
Yeah, it's, the point of this conversation is so that we don't write a document that looks great, you know, I mean, it's, wow, we crossed every T and dotted every I, but we can't enforce the document.
Yeah, it's got no
Because-
practicality.
Yeah, exactly, so we have to write a practical document based on what we have, and every town is unique, and what we want to see. So that's the only reason, not how we're doing it is right or wrong or whatever, it's just, if you don't have copies of this, we can.
I think I got them,
Yeah, I just think we should all take the time, read through these, cross-reference them against what we have, and then how do we deliver the message is the last element for me. And I pulled up, this is, and I'll make everybody a copy and leave them, this is Bradford's transfer station, this is the website, and it basically spells out their ordinance within the first click.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a really, it doesn't go into the actual legal document, but it's a very good example of,
He pulls all the highlights out.
yeah, it makes it pretty black.
It's a good outline.
It makes it pretty black and white. And I talked to town administrator about, could we do this on our first click on our website? And could be very easily accomplished, okay? So you don't have to go to that sidebar and start scrolling down and finding, you know, fee structures and,
If we're talking that, like, I think an overhead map would be pretty handy. Like, this is where you're gonna put your glass, this is where you're gonna put your aluminum cans, then, you know, kinda, instead of trying to drive up and
Oh,
read it all.
because the signs are small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
they can be asked to
We're
give
we're
a,
trying to raise recycling rates, all that stuff, and so we know that there are people that are not doing it, don't know the system. How can we help people understand the system better?
Yeah, educate them,
Yeah.
right?
they used to be, I like how they're doing the stickers now, because it takes off the attendance. But that used to be one nice thing about transfer station handing them out, was if you ask for a sticker, you must be new in town,
Yeah.
right?
Here-
If this is your 4th truck, I know that you're Ricky Hippler, and I know
You're
you
welcome,
are.
yeah.
But other than that, if you're new to town, would you like a
Tour.
quick tour? We did it all the time, and so you put it on the website, it's what more people do, but you know, they can educate up there too. And again, it needs to be refreshed. I don't know if it needs to be written every letter, rewritten, because people are doing it, they just, my problem with writing stuff to I's and T's is they change fluently, right? We change what we recycle, we change where we put things, you know, because of vendors. The furniture goes in a demo now, it didn't used to, because we used to send our demo to Urco, and they absolutely did not allow anything like that in the trailer. So when, I started dealing with Bradford and looked into it finally, then yes, but that could change, man. Bradford could change, shut down.
Yeah,
So-
it isn't the actual day-to-day, again, take a chance and read these.
Yeah.
It's how, it's what is the policy, right? So, I mean, again, kind of make it real simple. Are we gonna continue to take private haulers? Or are we gonna send them to South Weare? That's just like a yes or no answer, right? So then, okay, we're gonna continue to use private haulers that are gonna be licensed, and then what do we wanna know from them to ensure that we're within the state law, that the trash that they're bringing us is being generated from our town? Okay, because the new guy can come in and fill out a permit, and gosh only knows, and all of a sudden the truck gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and, you know, we have no idea where it comes from, and it's pulling up to our hopper and dumping, right? So, you know, do we want those in there, or do we not? Do we think it's unreasonable to get a client list and an updated client list and a vehicle description, and, you know, because that's all spelled out in some of these. Or, you know, these are the requirements of the permit. It's really, we gotta kind of create a work list of what we
Yeah.
want to include and not include, but it is a fairly big project.
Well, and I don't disagree, Kevin, I think it's a huge project, and to Ben's point, you know, these, I feel today really hold no weight. You know, there's an RSA mentioned, but, I mean, they're 30 years old, so to say that they, I mean, actually, it was, and this was amended within 6 months. So I think where these work sessions are going in a direction where if we have a binder, say, of what we've made and brought up into the 21st century, and demo changes, right? It may change, you never know, right? We flip open, oh, there's our regulations, page 3, oh, we need to make an amendment on that, how we're gonna amend it, we spend 5 minutes on it, we come up with a new amendment, it's going from here to there, and we vote on it, and we put it in, and it's done.
Exactly.
And moving forward. These are the hard points, I think, for everything that we're doing as far as making these job descriptions. These are the hard points, because we're starting at ground zero. But if we have something already on the books, it's 5 minutes to change it. And make it work for today. Make it work for today. Make it work for today.
I guess that's my problem about having specific things, and you just said job descriptions, and we talked about a foreman's job description we didn't get into. That's what happens when you do that. I'm not talking about job descriptions, but it's not a union, you know.
Right.
It's a foreman working on a J, he's gonna do what Jay tells him to do. We write out a specific set of rules, and he can bring back, say, that's not on this, so you didn't hire me that. It's trapping him. Same as this, we need to spell out that you got to recycle what we ask you to recycle. Here's the list of recyclables today, but I don't think we need to tell them where it's going or why it's going there, because then we'll be into this, right? Now we're not going to the burner, now we're going to the landfill, and 20 years from now, someone else looks that has worded that we're sending it to the burner. I don't know if we
Well-
need to be that specific. We need to make it so that they can,
Yeah, maybe.
They can't have their arms tied,
Maybe
don't
read
they?
one of these.
yeah,
And I would start with Guilford.
All right.
After you get all, you know, again, because some of them are bigger towns and they don't, you know, you
Yeah.
don't need to look at Lebanon
you
or,
know, for instance, we had a commercial hauler years ago that was bringing in bundled cardboard and bagged stuff and just dumping in the hopper, and we threw them out until he recycled the things that the people thought was getting recycled. They have that power to do that. No, you need to recycle what we ask you to recycle, and if you're being unreasonable about it, we need to have a discussion, we wanna let them dump or not let them dump, yes, but I don't know about 30% or 10%, because they should recycle close to 100% of what we want you to do. And I think we're trying to make it too specific,
Yeah,
I guess.
by the way, I mean, you weren't on the board at the time, but it was when these antiquated documents surfaced, and we realized we were operating way outside of what was written. We didn't have any basis, we had no way to hold these guys accountable. People were asking what's going on, one being myself, what are the guidelines? So we just came up with, I mean, at the time, if you don't mind, Killian.
Nope, I'm
He-
not.
He was, people were saying, well, he's not even advertising that he does recycle. Okay, so there was no place that stated that that was the case. So he came in and we asked him, he said, sure, yeah, and I think I can meet your goal or get close to it. Okay?
I can kind of explain real quick, kind of make it easier how I do it. So if it's recyclable bags or cardboard, I put it right at the tail, and that's the first. We spend at least 15, 20 minutes there unloading all the recyclables, and me and whoever I got working for me, you know, goes and disperses it, and then we pull over, and Frank usually comes out, looks, and we back in and dump, and
Yeah, yeah, and then,
You know,
and there's no questioning that you haven't been making that effort that we asked you to
Yeah.
make, so that we kind of still the waters, which was great. It's just, do we write into the policy that commercial haulers check with attendant prior to dumping? Do we write that in, or do we not write it in? You know, it's just one of those things, and again, I don't wanna beat this into the ground and waste our time tonight, because I think it's just gonna take some more preparation by the board members, and read these other ones that are more well-crafted than ours. And I think it'll give us a starting point.
And I think to Ben's point, you know, in a perfect world, I 100% agree with you, right? I mean, we just basically put an outline together and leave it to designation up there. Unfortunately, in today's world, you know, if we get somebody who goes up there and just throws everything in the hopper, and we go, hey, you know, you're supposed to recycle, yeah, tell them where it says that. And we bring that out, and we say, yeah, right here, the lawyer's gonna pick that apart in a heartbeat. Or whatever.
Probably will still be deposited transfer station designated recycling.
Right. Well, where is it? Could be anywhere. That's the recycling bin to me, it's the hopper. I was just saying that there's so
See, I
many
disagree,
different.
And that's why picking this apart is, and I don't mind picking this apart, but same as job description, trying to rewrite because everybody before us didn't know nothing. And so we changed that, so we put it over there. And then next year we'll change facility and we want the paper trailer over there.
Right.
Yeah, just.
I will, but.
It's the
and-
same,
and we-
it's the same, the guts are the same, it's just how it's
We
presented.
keep bringing the same topic up, there is this, or job descriptions, well, what holds them to it? Well, what do you mean, what holds them to it? It's stated that we need to do this, and.
Well, for
there-
instance, I'll give you an example, okay? We just had an example happen a couple of weeks ago that we have an irate citizen in here ranting and raving. He's been doing it forever. In these documents, it clearly states that the intendant has the right to ask you to stop, pause, what's in the bag. Okay? It's stated there. Which it currently is not stated, even though we are directed our attendants to be able to do that. Did you find it?
I thought it was stated, but. Skim it again. It's not worth hanging up on that.
Right.
Okay. So anyway, it's that kind of stuff. So then that is the backstop for the people that we're asking to implement the rule book. I don't really think everybody just needs to sit down and spend 45 minutes with this, and I think when we arrive back, we can start creating a draft, and it's just gonna be who's gonna delegate the draft. Whether we take this and say, yep, 10.1, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, and get that, and does that hit all of our bullets? Agreed?
Yeah.
That's fine.
I think we can
I
come back to
wanna-
the table.
Yeah, I wanna know when we voted on putting a building permit on shingles. Is it gonna go to clapboards? If you replace 10 clapboards on your house, you gotta have a building permit? When did that happen?
I don't know when that happened.
Well, why wouldn't you know? We're selectmen. Shouldn't
I
we
would-
be made aware of this stuff?
Maybe it's in there and we didn't know about it, it just wasn't being enforced. I don't know. It's.
It wasn't in there a year ago, because
Well,
I asked.
We'd have to look into it, so.
I know people are just making up their own rules as they go along, so I don't think it's right.
Well, we'll have to look into it. So, All right, so I think we tabled that until we can review the packet that we were given. Mhm. Yeah. Just come up.
Sorry, I forgot about this before. The transfer station backhoe.
Yes.
The hydraulic pump, let go on it. Benji, you know how hard parts are to get for that. So I called Knoxland, where it originally came from. They sent me to a dealer in Massachusetts. Dealer in Massachusetts sent me to a dealer in West Virginia. So I got a hold of them, got a hold of the manufacturer. They have a hydraulic pump in Turkey for $4,500. I don't personally.
the
I
machine.
don't
Anybody
think-
ask or try to cross it with Terex?
So yeah, I tried to go to the end of the earth
Yeah.
as soon as I figured out that we were looking at $4,500 bill for that. Obviously I sent the pump out first to see if we could get it rebuilt.
Yeah.
But it's completely junk from two different opinions that I got. So these are reputable companies that I tend to trust.
Yep.
So, in my opinion, if we want to keep that machine up there, which it is handy to have, certainly, because they're stealing our backhoe from the highway department almost every day that we could be using doing road maintenance. I think it'd be a good thing to go to the White Farm and get one of DOT's old John Deere's or something that you can actually get some parts for and stuff's
Relatively local.
available. Yeah. I just wanted to bring that up to you guys and get a direction and
I guess
see
worth
what the
getting-
deal is.
Definitely worth, see if they
Numbers.
got anything there, because they just had their auction last month, so.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
if there's anything
and
there.
obviously we don't have to wait for auction because. we're
Right, no, I'm saying
municipal,
it's an
but-
empty yard now, though, right?
Yeah, no,
Yeah, so-
I understand.
Yeah.
I don't know money-wise where it would come from, how we gotta do it. But, I mean, the forklift we paid $1,000 for, so. I'm sure we can get a backhoe cheaper than $4,500 and to put
Now, we-
$4,500
We
into
have
that
access to the
machine.
federal side too, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's the forklift is a US Army.
Right, I remember that being camo color-ish,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, so
Right.
I just don't see us putting $4,500 into the machine that's there.
No, that machine is so wore out.
Yeah, we
So,
could get, see if you can get some numbers on.
Yeah, I'd definitely be a fan of getting some numbers from federal and state, if they've got anything.
It's a German machine, right? Wasn't it built in Germany?
Turkey.
UK is where all the parts were coming from, and then they switched everything to Turkey,
Okay.
as near as I know.
Yeah.
That's not the ranking.
Thank you.
Then in with your other stuff. Just a second, that's Henniker.
Oh, okay. All right,
You got any questions for us? Dan?
No, I mean, if you're good, I'm good.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're
If you
good.
have any questions for me, let me know. I mean, I think commercial haulers are a good thing to
Yeah.
have in there because just between me and Scotty, that's 300 less vehicles
Passing through there,
passing through, going down Merrill Road, being driven up.
into the
in that
complex.
tight area. I think there is definitely a benefit to us. I only bring a quarter, maybe some weeks half of my route there. The rest I bring down to H-Stroke because it's right there close and I can continue my route on and get it all done in one day. So, yeah.
Okay.
So how many, and I don't want to belabor it, but since you're sitting here, how many times a week then do you say you hit the transfer station?
Once. Unless I have stuff in my house, like I've been cleaning up that place from all the stuff that was left behind. So I've been like, on a Saturday or like a Friday afternoon, I'll blast up there with whatever I got, you know what I mean? But usually on Tuesdays when I do my trash route and Weare, it's once.
Okay.
And I can give you the specific roads of where I hit, because it's all relatively close to this end of town, and then
No,
everything else goes.
Yeah, the reason I asked, because we had mentioned, is it worth adding in requiring commercial haulers to check in with the attendant? And so where I was getting at is, how much of a burden is it? Well, it's only one time. It's not a huge burden.
No, I mean, there's a couple individuals, like Scotty, he's been doing that since, I think, before I was even born. He's been hauling trash in there, and I know from when I worked up there, he's very, very good about recycling. He's very, there's not many of us. It's me, Scott, Tony Traveris, and I believe there's one other gentleman doing Jeff Wigston's old group. I don't remember the gentleman's name off the top of my head. But, so like, I'm only in there one day, Tony's only in there one day, I believe the other guy's only in there one day, Scott goes whatever days that, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, so.
Yeah, but it's not a huge labor load to the
No, and
attendant,
we do
attendant
it-
up there.
Yeah, we do everything.
Yeah,
We just go and
you unload
we
your
grab
own.
Frank or Connor, or Billy, or
Whoever.
whoever's working up there, we're like, hey, you wanna check? Yep, good, okay,
Yep, okay.
back in we go, so.
Okay. All right. Anything else for Killian?
No.
Thanks for coming, appreciate
Yeah,
it.
Absolutely, thank you.
All right, we're gonna table the Comcast thing.
Yeah, he's offered to come in on the 19th.
Okay.
I did speak to Doug, and he thanked me for catching that, because it wasn't on there was a thing I sent out to you guys, so there was the area of coverage changed from 30 dwelling units by area mile, and 60 units by ground, to 25 and 40. And what I had done, and as I took the highlighted or the marked up copy that Doug had reviewed and said it was okay, and did page by page, paragraph with paragraph to what he sent us, and one change I picked up on was that. So when I emailed him and I said, we're not gonna do that, I think I sent it out to you guys, because I wanted an explanation.
Oh, yeah.
And Doug said that we've never really agreed to changing the mileage coverage.
All right.
So I emailed the gentleman and I said, you need
What's
to
up
come
there?
in and
Yeah.
have this conversation with us, because things change, but why are we shortening the mileage? I
Right.
don't understand the distance covered.
Yeah.
So he's off June 19th and is available to come. He
Okay.
lives in Mass. So if you want, I can put him on as
Yeah.
a scheduled item for next week.
I think that's probably a good idea.
I know Salem Mass, did you get it in both halves?
Yeah, and well, so I did want to say, because I had done the same thing, like diffed them, and yeah, saw that discrepancy. So I had some things to say, but I did want to say I appreciate you going through it and seeing that, flagging it for everybody, so we didn't get everybody
A bag
spending
of
their time
goods,
doing
yeah.
this. I did also, because it says that we will. It says there has to be an opportunity for public comment as required by section 626H of the Cable Act, which says so we have to afford the public adequate notice and opportunity for comment. So I just think if we say it, if we just say there's gonna be an opportunity for a public hearing or whatever.
Yeah, public comment towards it, yeah.
Just, I think that,
I think where it's
Satisfies
a
it.
regular meeting too, it would make, people
Yeah.
come to the regular meetings, where at the beginning, you could say, and I could do public discussion on, when we post the agenda, public discussion on the.
yeah.
Yeah, I think
So
that'd
I
probably be easier, just a
I got
public
some
discussion.
other stuff to talk about when we do talk about it, but I want to say that now so that we can get
Okay.
it in there.
All right. Discussion for the gentleman, probably?
I don't think
Some
so.
of it?
It's honestly, it's stuff like, we can get 30 grand from them to buy new equipment for Channel 6.
Yeah, so every year that we sign it, which is once in every 7, we got 30K the last time, and we put it into a capital reserve fund to buy stuff. And, and then this time around, when we sign and execute it, you're gonna get another check for 30K that'll go into that.
Yeah.
Nice.
And since we've been talking about conflicting meetings, ethics committee now, everything going on.
Upstairs, maybe?
Yeah,
It's
something like
time.
that, right.
Yeah.
And because it also says they should have 2 public access channels, PEG channels.
Which we did agree to 6 and 17, the school has taken down 17.
So that's what I was wondering, what the
Right.
state of that was. So that's,
There's some
it's,
loose
I don't know that
ends.
it's stuff for him,
Yeah.
it's stuff for us.
It's loose ends, yeah.
Yeah, and really to let the public know, hey, just so you know,
This is coming.
well, if your internet goes out for 24 hours, you can get a reimbursement.
No,
That's
perfect.
in this contract, so. Just
Even
letting
better.
everybody know, call Comcast.
It's a monopoly, though.
It's not. It's a non-exclusive, that's the next one. So the state mandates
You haven't been here since
53C, 3B, 1989.
Cabletron. Cabletron, remember?
No.
Craig
That's
Benson.
That was a
Well, before my time.
pre-Comcast.
Before mine.
And now that,
mean,
now
it's a
that,
non-exclusive
you know, I
agreement,
don't
so
know
it's
how
a
many
lot of
people
money.
use Comcast either.
Yeah.
You
But,
know.
but we get a lot of people that say, hey, the board of selectmen, why don't they let,
XYZ,
AT&T in.
yeah, yeah.
well, it's up to them. They have to come to us and say, we'd like to roll
in.
out the
I
giant
think Ricky
infrastructure.
had a guy
And
from
we can.
Fidium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fidium, yeah.
Fidium reached out to you, and he's never reached out to me to make an appointment.
Right.
So it's, yeah, when people grab to us, hey, it's,
Yeah.
we can.
Tell-
This is not. an
So
Tell,
what I-
tell your company to come in.
So what I'll share with you is what we get complaints a lot about is more telephone. Because if you
Right.
have Comcast, I guess
Can't
they
bundle.
offer a phone now,
Yeah, you can't bundle.
so you can't bundle. And it's not, what I found out is everybody said, oh, it's Granite State, it's Granite State. Well, it's not Granite State, because I called Granite State and I called the PUC. And what it is when Comcast came through Weare, through the Public Utilities Commission, which is PUC, they wanted internet. Nobody said they wanted internet and phone.
Oh,
So
so
they
they didn't
were
make the request.
approved for the
Internet
internet
only.
and the cable, and that was it. So it's not something we can do, you know what I mean? It's not something Granite State is
Yeah.
keeping us hostage on. But I think people are honestly going, I mean, I'll be honest with you, my kids don't have anything but streaming.
Yeah.
That's just today's world, I think.
Yeah.
You know, so as long as they got the internet,
They're
they
good.
can get all this other TV.
Mhm.
And, you know, we used to be Comcast subscribers, and we're not anymore. We went to DirecTV.
All right.
But, yeah, no, we can have a public discussion, but it did, you know, I was surprised because for most of his changes were what he said he was going to, which Doug approved, and said there wasn't any harm in it. But when I caught that, I'm like, I said, hey, Brian, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, I forgot to add that to my cover letter.
Nice, real nice.
I'm like, well, that's off, you need to get here. So we can do that on the, excuse
19th?
me, on the 19th.
Okay. Since it's in front of us, you want to do the DPW? The director position, finalize the post? Okay.
To begin with, I wasn't even gonna make this long, so if you wanna cut out all the requirements, the CDLs and all that kinda stuff, it's in the job description, but
Okay.
I just tried to make it so that, not that I think we're gonna get 100 applicants anyway, but I just tried to make it so that, you know, depends on where it gets posted, that hopefully we don't use Indeed anymore, but I did that once, and you can't imagine the people that put in. So I
Oh,
put in
yeah.
a few requirements like CDL, 'cause so we can at least throw them right off the table. But
There are a handful of grammar things.
yeah, I knew there would be.
But do we,
So-
do we want to act the
so-
content though before we get
Yeah,
grammar
so I guess that's what I
driven?
was getting at. If we could do the content and don't even worry about the grammar, if y'all, I'm happy to volunteer again.
Okay.
If
Okay.
if I can get it tonight, because I'm going on vacation. If I can get it tonight, I'll turn around tonight. And,
Okay. All right.
but yeah, I think,
Just before the salary range, it says position answers directly town administration,
Yep.
supposed to be administrator, so.
Yep.
Other than that, I'm sure there's others, but I caught that one right away, so.
Which is, when the salary was left blank, you got this nice document Beth had put together. Because we had, Kevin asked about if we could put something together, so I went over to see Beth, and I didn't realize we were working with and developing steps. So what she did is she did the steps, and then she plunked everybody where they are in color,
Mm-hmm.
which was kind of nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Transfer station, there, she didn't bother because all your attendants are the same. The one full-timer is the second line, and the senior attendant.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of them, I believe she's added everybody's name and colors. And except for when you get to the back page, that's the staff here, but I think you can figure out who everybody is.
Every department's listed in
Right,
here.
you honestly know So that's where all this came from, to try to come up with maybe a salary number.
Ricky, I asked Naomi if we could come up with something like this to, it plays to what you were saying, where we have a binder
Yeah.
to every employee, and this is updated once a year, right?
Yeah, and again, if there's already a template for it, it don't take long at all to populate it
No, so we don't have to ask the question again about,
down the road.
how much are we currently paying?
Yeah.
How much are we currently paying?
Yeah, you open the binder and ta-da, there it is.
How much are we paying?
So the director's step 5 is what we paid the last one. That's just where it is. I see we're missing a color though. We're missing the assistant mechanic color.
So I guess the salary range would be from probation to step 9. Then we interview and decide what we wanna pay, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I left the range open, and you're not gonna,
Well,
depends on what we think of the person when we hire them, where you put them.
well,
I guess with the raises and whatnot, could we even afford a step 9?
that's what I was gonna say. I mean, I don't know if the,
Oh, sure, yeah.
I don't know if the budget line will allow that. You might be able to wiggle 6 and 7 out of it, and probably not step 9.
All right, then.
Right, but it's still
From
a
probation
range.
to where the budget is, that's good.
Right.
That's good.
Do
Which
you
I
think
guess I don't know
probation
what the
would be
budget-
low at 66?
Huh?
You're probably not gonna find somebody with all that qualifications for 66.
Well, that's not saying that's what I'm paying, but you're gonna have a range, I guess.
It's up to you.
What is it, a realistic number to even put out there?
If somebody sees 66, they're gonna go to the next page.
Yeah.
Well-
Yeah,
What defines these steps then? Because if that backs us into the question of what is the minimum step we would accept? Well, what is a step even? Like,
I believe all these were, and I suppose calculate it real quick, it was what current probation rate now is plus 3% every year. So 9 years of 3% is what it calculates to.
So probationary number at the bottom of the director's spot says 1286 a week, I'm assuming,
It is,
right?
yeah.
So times 52 is 66, for a better term, 66.9. Next step is 68.9, basically, rounded. Next step is 70,980, so 71. Step 3 would be 73. Step 4 would be 75,250. Step 5 would be 77,550. Oh, no, not enough digits on that one. Step 6 would be 79,850.
you're kinda going up two grand, consistently. per
Yeah.
step.
Right. Step 7 will be 82,300. Step 8 would be 84,750. And step 9 would be 87,300.
Keep in mind, this is highway only. So if you end up having that person get their license for wastewater, historically, since there's been a public works director, there's a salary for wastewater, which is $5,000-6,000 a year, not much. So if it's 75, it's 80, 85.
So we've
But-
lumped
but you-
that all into one now.
But you can't, but you
Not on
can't,
this, it's not.
but you can't, at
gotta be
the
a
current
focus.
moment, we can't account for that money because we are using the outside vendor.
I understand.
at the current moment.
Right. but-
So, maybe down the line, but not.
Well, we need to
not
keep
when I
that in
this.
mind, if, what we're gonna have that person do before we give a salary range.
Right.
If we want that person to make, say, 90,000, well, we're gonna give them 1 year to get their licenses, then it's 90 minus the 5 till they get the license, if that's what we're gonna do with it.
Is that how we stated it in the job description?
What's that?
I don't,
That there was this probationary interim period?
I don't
I don't think so.
think so.
I don't remember.
I mean, we've always had a probationary period when we hire people, though.
Okay, so, but it's not in the job description. We're gonna go and
Don't
read-
believe so.
We're referring them to the job description, correct?
For the fine tuning of the position
Is
as
that in the
far as,
personnel policy though?
yeah, it's definitely in the personnel policy, I believe. As far as the probationary period for all employees. Doesn't matter what position. It's still a probationary period. Yeah.
So that heading's gotta be changed, because that's not just public works.
Well, as of right now, it
Quotation
is.
Highway Department.
As of right now, it is.
Said we were putting them together.
Well, that's the plan down the road,
Really?
potentially.
Right now, this is what the highway is.
Because you can't just hire the guy and say, yep, you've got water now, if he doesn't come through with a license.
Well, I'm not saying water, you haven't got transfer station involved here. You've just got public work, highway.
This always did historically again, for the previous 3, this was everything except sewer.
Right.
Highway, transfer station, and there never was any money
There's no
given for
transfer
drinking
station.
water.
But
That's what we wrote in the job description.
there was never any transfer station money that ever went to the director. Not that I can remember.
What do you mean? I'm not talking about that, I'm talking about the titles. It was
These are
highway
just-
and
but These are just
transfer.
headers in a.
Yeah, I know, that's what I'm
table.
saying.
It was highway, transfer, water, and sewer.
Right.
Right.
That's where, yeah, the
But-
public works came in. This she put in quotation highway because there was, I don't know what the number was, say call it $5,000 in addition to these numbers.
Right.
That green number was the one I got. In addition to that, there was 5,000 added to that for what my salary.
But that came from a different line.
That's right.
A
That's why
different
she
line in
put
the budget.
highway in the quotation. I'm
Right.
guessing, I
Yeah.
didn't do this with her.
Yeah, because this is where that money comes from, exclusively it's from the highway department budget.
That's right,
Yeah. That's why.
that's right. But that's a decision we need to make before we put it out, because that's, that, we want that person to make in the end for a number. And always had, I don't know what the time frame was.
I mean, you could put it in there,
Then if they never went and got it, then
Then they don't get it.
didn't get that stipend.
then they don't get it, right. Right. So the carrot,
But when we put the salary range, if we're gonna put that in the ad.
The carrot can be
Another
there.
reason I left it out, maybe we don't,
Do you have a copy of the job description here?
but if we're gonna put the salary range, we need to think about that extra
Still
5,000.
says draft
or
3, I didn't take it off
5,500.
it.
Draft three is-
that's understood.
And then when we pick a candidate, I guess that's when we find them. This was a newspaper ad, and I'm sure now we don't wanna pay any more than we gotta to put it in the paper. You could go on and on and on, put the whole job description in there and pay.
Yeah, pay for a full
I always
page.
kept them simple for truck drivers and stuff. I added a little more to this just so we weeded out people that just throw their name in every hat.
Oh, you're not wrong.
I didn't even know if you guys wanted to put salary range in. Typically it is, but not always.
I think we should, but I don't know how we can without knowing what's in the
You
budget.
don't know what somebody's gonna have for experience.
I think that's the bigger part, is you don't know what they're gonna have for experience. I mean, you can put
That's why we
a,
put a range.
you
Put a
can,
range
you
in.
can put a
Right, I mean, that's what it
range.
says, that's what we're talking about.
Or do you put a starting number? Rather than a top range, do you put a start number? Do we decide that,
Yeah,
you-
based on qualification.
based on qualifications, that,
I mean, yeah.
yeah, I mean, because honestly, anybody that comes through with, even 50% of what's on the post and or in the job description, I don't think you're gonna start them at step 1. You're
Well,
gonna
we
probably
just
start
need
them
to pick a
at
range, right?
2 or
There's
3,
got-
right?
Yeah, well,
There's gotta be
again,
a
it's
range so
not-
we can decide when we finally hire that person, that this is what we think they're worth, instead of putting hard numbers. We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
But that's why I asked the question,
How
what
much
is
school we're
this,
gonna have to send
what
them to
are,
before they can do their job.
these steps don't really mean anything unless we say oh, step 3 means they have these qualifications, and step 7 means they have these qualifications. Like, otherwise, we're just kind of picking randomly.
Yeah.
But the top end has to be underneath the budget, and we don't know what that is.
Right. So we need to pick the low number
Well, I
and
think-
find out from Beth what the high number is.
I think
and
the-
that's our range. And then when we interview, we can decide what the number is we want to hand out.
Well, I think that we're gonna find that the number in the budget is gonna be what's in the green.
I would assume,
Because
plus
that's,
3% maybe.
if we accounted for that in the 3%
don't
pool,
know.
in the 5% pool,
Or
right?
5%, whatever.
Yeah, in the
it is.
5% pool, if we accounted for that, I don't know. Then that might account for it. But
Yeah,
I would say that if, I would put my bag of money on the fact that green highlighted box is the number that's in the budget.
I would too.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
so. You know, if somebody walks through the door with everything, it's gonna be kind of a no-brainer that the green box is the starting point.
Exactly.
I would think, or one box below
I agree.
for probationary.
I agree, but then that's why I put the word range. We need
Yeah.
to pick a low number, so if the person
Mm-hmm.
isn't experienced, but we think that they're gonna do a great job, wanna give them a shot, then they need to start low and show us they can do it, and if it's somebody that has everything we asked for and more, then we gotta give them all that we can afford in the budget.
But I think to offer, to request to require what we have here, which, again, I'm not,
Well, the only
Right, wrong or
requirements is
Or
high school
CDL.
diploma and CDL with air brakes,
yeah,
and some experience, which,
of road and plowing
the rest of them is ability
to obtain.
to obtain and having, being able to pass drug tests and
So,
stuff, which I would think. they
all right,
want
so,
that.
so let's back it up and go right to the bottom, right to the bottom number, we'll say. So, the high school, the CDLB, construction maintenance, experience, and a plow truck. Bare bones. What step should we start at? 2? 3?
Yeah, 2 or 3. What, I didn't write your numbers down.
2 is 71, 73.
73 is 3.
73 is 3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
then more or less you can go up.
71, it's 2,000, it's 2,000 each
Two,
step, roughly,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like 71, yeah. So, I mean, to me, it should start at 2 or 3.
Well, so, and you can correct me where I'm wrong here, but you're kind of describing one of these positions with management on top.
Yeah,
And so,
and there's no management.
I don't know that we need to
listed here.
start with these numbers, but we could even start with one of these numbers and say, okay, well, if that's all you have, then you're pretty much, I'm just picking one, equipment operator 3, but your management experience puts you way up at the top. Well, that's a number to start at. You know, add something to that. We don't like,
The only crux to that is the director's position's always been salary.
that's, I'm just saying, but a number.
A
Like, you
number,
take that,
yeah.
multiply by 2080 to get the
Okay?
hours.
Yeah. Okay.
Beth has
It's
these
gonna
in her
make it low,
computer
it's gonna
for
make it
the,
like 50 or 60, but if that's what you're saying is the minimum, and that's kind of what, like, you start with that, add in whatever we say management's worth.
Well, top rate on the equipment operator is like 58,
Right.
58,000.
So that's why I don't know that we need to jump all the way to 71 as a minimum.
If the minimum qualifications, okay, that's fine.
I guess my opinion on it was we use the director number she gave and just start whatever step, because that's the position. And we're wanting him to have manager, we can hire him without it, but
Yeah, but that can
it's
give you a
for the
problem,
director's
yeah.
position, we're not hiring a,
Well, we can't, we obviously, we can't spend money we don't have.
right.
Right, so we can probably find enough to get us to step 6. If that
Oh, yeah.
guy walks through the door that's gonna wow the pants off us, and he wants to start tomorrow, and he's gonna meet all the criteria on our job description, binga banga go. So, we run the ad, we know our range is anywhere from 73 to 79, and we start the interview process. And
I think that's a fair
That's what
assessment.
I think.
I think it's just clearly stated that the rate will be based on qualifications until we get them in the door.
And then we can
size 'em
haggle.
up,
We can
and
haggle.
Ask them what they're looking for, and
Yeah.
then tell them this is where our range is based on your qualifications.
That's kind of what my thought was.
Yeah,
think-
that's
I think
pretty
that
much what
works.
Benji was saying. I think it's a pretty tight range.
I do.
I would sooner say if you're saying 70, if you say, oh, we can get 79,850, I would just say 70 to 80 then. I would drop
Let's
from
use rough
73.
numbers,
That's
yeah.
round enough.
Okay.
That's rounded, that's good round, yeah, 78, it's fine, yeah,
Yeah,
I like that.
the whole idea is so that we just don't put the ad out and all of a sudden we could be interviewing somebody Monday.
Yeah, yeah. All right,
When, are you back on Monday?
I'll be back Monday. Yeah, my family's already having fun without me. They took off yesterday.
And
I said, I have to attend the Board of Selectmen meeting.
I'm gonna
I'll be
give
there
full
tomorrow.
disclosure,
Right
that-
hand.
I'm gonna give full disclosure that, you know, I'm not sure how many applicants we'll get for 80, but it might be an incentive to get button gear and get your other license, gain that 5 or 6, whatever's budgeted.
Right.
And that's just what the town's budget, fair or not fair. Someday needs to go to vote and get more, I don't disagree, but
that's what we got for
there's
now.
always the, historically, you know, you can change it, but budget-wise, I don't think we can change it today. And we need to
No.
get this out in
Pronto.
fairness to the town and Jay and everybody else, so. you know,
So I
'cause
think-
I think it'll be a little while time she puts it in the paper, and we give it a couple of weeks for by law, you gotta give it 2 weeks, right, Naomi?
No,
Oh, you don't?
There's no
why
law
it
in it.
says the position will remain open until filled.
Right.
I always was told you
We've
gotta.
always stuck that on there.
Yeah.
just
I
was-
usually let it run a couple weeks and pretty
I-
much it's old news after
I
that.
thought the rule was that'd be 2 weeks. Okay.
I think the other thing we need to be careful of, just if we could do a quick sanity check, what, as interim, what is Jason making right now?
Right there, you see it.
2862.
But that's under the mechanic line. So what I'm trying to clarify is he making anything additional to that, or is,
Yeah,
is
you
that
have to-
what he's making right
It's a
now?
stipend on top of it.
Yeah, I don't remember, is it 500 a week or 500,
500, isn't it 500?
It's,
it's in the
I saw it
box,
somewhere,
right?
it's in the box.
You also can find your assistant mechanic rate in there too.
payable, payroll, let's do payroll.
I think the total somewhere around 85 when it's all done and done.
And if so, then
stipend.
we're going under that,
Yeah,
which doesn't seem to make sense.
How much is he making?
So that's what I want to double check. He threw out 85.
85,000?
yeah.
Holy crap.
Because the problem is, they're gonna need a mechanic. Whether he stays there, or he gets a job and he hires one. So we can't suck up that mechanic line. Because as low as 80 is for public works director,
Did you find it?
26 is low for a good mechanic.
Working on it.
What were you making, Ben, when you left?
I don't know, 85, I think.
And you got somebody that doesn't know the job making 85? That doesn't make a
80
lot
here
of
and 5
sense.
from sewer. Drinking water never paid for running water.
500,
A week?
yeah,
On top of this
Yeah.
number.
Yeah.
yes.
You got 20 years.
It's 11,000, right? It's 11,000 more, right? Just add my numbers together. 500 a week's 11 grand more, right? It's
A
11,000.
Oh, I don't know.
That puts him,
Did I do it, not enough? Oh, I'm right, okay. So 11 to that, so that's 84. That's what right now is what payroll is for that,
he's
plus
at
the,
85.5.
plus what we're,
That was just, that was from memory.
Yeah.
So I
it's
just,
close,
I just
84.
ballpark everything.
Right. So anyway, what we need to do is know the budget
Mm-hmm.
before he writes it up.
Yep.
And I'm sure, on top of everything Beth is, I'm sure that that's the current number, but I guess it wouldn't hurt to ask that question, I suppose, for the, what's budgeted.
Yeah.
We gotta remember, we gotta open up that mechanic spot again.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And what do we pay the sewer guy annually?
Looks like 45.
45.
Roughly.
I think there was 5.
All right, so,
that's in the
so
budget.
the range would be 70 to 80, is that what we're saying?
I'd be all right going to 85 if it's in the budget, I just don't understand if it's,
Well, how are we paying
Well-
85 now?
Because there's no director, so it's 3 vacancies. So if
we
they were
gotta
all
allow
filled,
money for a full
crew,
crew, right?
right. The director's salary has to be basically anticipating a full crew.
I don't think poor bugger will.
I don't think so either,
Someday we
especially
gotta be
labor
there,
market, yeah. Yeah, especially the labor market where it is.
But just playing this out, if Jason comes in and does an interview and he is the best of all available candidates, we say, congratulations, we're taking $5,000 from you.
Right.
We can't do that.
Right, no, I know.
No, I know,
Like, but what are we doing here?
Yeah. Right.
Well, I forgot about the
Okay,
stipend, so I was thinking you
I had
got
a
70.
conversation, and based on what we have been compensating the interim director, okay, which is 85,000. Now we're gonna make that a permanent title to someone, okay? And they're gonna assume all the responsibilities at some point, regardless of probation. We're gonna press above that number in this job market. We can, so, and you're right, I don't think we can offer him a job and ask him to do more and take on the full responsibilities for less money. So,
But if we hire out the vacancies, there's no money to pay him what he's making now. So
Correct. Yeah. No, it's a rock and a hard place.
I'd like the range to go as high as possible. I can only tell from experience, be careful counting on vacancy numbers because.
Yeah, you
then
can't roll the
you're-
dice like that.
You're in big trouble, and
there's
Yeah.
I know
there's, there's, it's the bottom, the budget is the budget, right?
Mhm.
Tracking, there's gonna be monies, I mean, the fuel line alone, there's gonna be somewhere between $70,000 and $80,000 left on the table on that line item alone this year.
Well, I wouldn't bring that to the bank.
Well,
That-
there we are at 6 months,
Fuel line's a gamble. The fuel line's always a gamble.
yeah, but if, that's with the cushion. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, we're in a different job market. you
Oh,
know?
it's incredible. It's horrible.
The people that come through this door that are gonna go for this job, they're not gonna be waiting for us to tell them how much we're gonna pay them.
No, and we're gonna lose them within 2 weeks. I mean, if we wait 2 weeks to meet, it's gonna be a disaster.
Right? But they're gonna
That's
tell
how
us
hot the
what-
market
they're gonna
is.
tell us what they want.
well, right now, if you look it up, there ain't a ton of those openings in New Hampshire for public works. It's gotta be somebody that wants to do that. So I don't know if it's gonna be that big of a deal, as far as you're gonna get them for a day and they're gonna run to the next one. If you're just chasing the money, you go to master on an excavator and you won't put up the headache of being a public works director.
Oh, yeah.
That's what you want to do. If you're interested in public works or highway, then, and the money is appetizing, then you'll wait till the next meeting. I had an idea what I wanted to write, but I very quickly tried to look up, see other positions, and maybe there are some, but they didn't come to the forefront. I didn't scroll through every page, but there ain't a lot of public works positions open, so.
Right.
So I guess my point to the hot job market is very hot, but I'm not sure in.
This
Yes,
was
it
specific,
is.
this specific role.
And I don't think in any position on this list that we pay enough,
No,
but you can't pay more than we're budgeted if it defaults 2 or 3 years. I'm
that's correct.
telling you, I'm kind of witnessing it now. I don't think you'd be in trouble. I understand that we're gonna have some money left over in other lines, but,
Well,
that's the only
the
thing.
reason I brought that up is, in response to Salem's question, is we are where we are with what the current compensation is, and short of, you're not gonna be, as he put it, how do you take that away, right? Do more for less.
Well,
So I think there's a possible path out. If
Okay.
I'm reading this correctly, one of the vacancies is foreman, which is about, I mean, this is 60 grand a year. And if we just say, hey, the director,
well, the other thing is too, is we're currently paying him the mechanic's salary. Right? So that will come off of that and go to director, right?
We're gonna leave that open for a mechanic.
Well, right, But what I'm saying is, yeah, we have to leave that open for mechanic. We've asked him to fill in as the interim director. I think that there is there's a missing piece here as well, is where the backfill of him still, whenever he can, backfill as the mechanic.
I would have to come in at like 25 to make up that gap that he would be, because if he came in, and again, these are all hypotheticals, but if we hired Jason at his salary, like pulling in the stipend, that would put him almost step 9, a little over step 8.
Yep.
And so the mechanic, we're talking $200, so
Yeah.
10 grand, to roughly a year.
Right.
And so that'd have to come down to like 22, 23 an hour to make up
Somebody mentioned that, I'm
that
not sure.
jump.
Right, no, but what I'm saying is the he's the interim director, right? But he's still backfilling as mechanic as much as he can. He's doing the tasks that we've asked him to do as director, but he's still technically being paid, and his position is technically still the mechanic, right?
That's fine.
That's fine. Right, so that's where I think that's where that monetary separation's gonna be. If we say your position is now director, which I think he's been doing a pretty good job of this whole time, if we say it's director now, basically that 2862 goes away. It goes away. So you're gonna start
Right, I get
losing
it,
that.
But we have to backfill. And
Yes,
if you backfill, the budget.
What I'm
but
saying
with-
though is, what I'm saying though is the director's position is separate. So if he locks into that,
He's not gonna get 80.
it's not the same pay rate.
I get it. And my point is, at that point, we will then have to hire a mechanic with what budget is left over. And I'm saying what budget that is left over will be about 22 an hour.
No.
No. What I'm saying is you're right now, we're partially combining these two. If we give the job to Jason, the combination is gonna disappear, and that's gonna become the new number. This is gonna look just like this with a vacancy on it.
Well,
May not be that number.
It may not be that number, it may be here, or here, whatever, but you're gonna lose that combination of the two
I
fundings.
guess the way I look at it is we're paying this amount right here, 84.
Mm-hmm.
Call him whatever we wanna call him. An interim director, head mechanic,
That's-
both. That is the number that's getting paid really for the director job, and that number's open, and we need to leave some amount of that open in this line for new mechanic.
Yeah, which is gonna be a hard,
28 an hour is not gonna come off of the 84, it's just,
No.
right now, there's a position open. Really, to me, the head mechanic's position's open because he's acting as the director. He is doing multiple jobs. I'm just saying, salary-wise, payroll-wise, he's getting paid as a director. That mechanic's slot's still open. We need to leave that money for a mechanic.
Right.
And I just want to touch on the foreman real
well,
quick because that got asked.
I don't think that's accurate, because his pay stub says mechanic, and that's his hourly rate. There's a stipend on top of it. The pay stub says mechanic, his rate is 28 whatever, and that's what he gets for 40 hours, and has a $500 stipend on top of it
Okay.
for being the interim director.
Yeah.
So he's not making both salaries.
No, he's not.
So he's
That's
gonna,
what I'm saying. One of these salaries is open now.
it's gonna open, yeah.
It's open now.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Right.
not open, it's open.
Right.
This is the money we have now.
So you're gonna make the
Nothing else
flop.
is going to open up.
So
It's
you got-
just, the title's gonna change. I don't know.
So you're gonna make the flop, right. You're just gonna make a flop in positions.
But the money isn't gonna
Yeah.
change.
It-
And I just wanna
money
touch on
doesn't
the
just show
foreman
up.
thing, just so you understand, that, excuse me, that is, you could take a little off of that, but that foreman is a position. It was always an operator, could just be a truck driver, it's not saying what you gotta be. But that is a position for plowing snow, so.
Okay.
We might be able to knock a couple dollars an hour off of that, but we can't get rid of that line to make up the difference.
Right.
Okay.
So, I think,
Yeah, go ahead.
you know,
I just looked up the NHMA website for classifieds in the town of Newport, New Hampshire, which is 6,500 people. They've got a DPW director for 92.
92 to start
140.
for Newport,
You work for nothing.
for 92 to
I
140.
don't think it was ever an argument that this town don't pay enough.
No. Yeah,
I know. It was never an argument.
No.
I don't
I just
think-
wanted to see, I always look over there, and they also, Nottingham's got one, but Nottingham didn't tell you how much.
Right,
I never argued it weren't enough.
So,
right,
It doesn't matter, we got to do what we got budgeted.
right. So I
Unless we
think,
wanna gamble and cut a position out of his,
no,
I don't wanna do that.
I think we post it.
And again, you guys all know I've been in favor of making it a full public works. I don't see the point in having transfer station, drinking water, and you might as well do the other. That's another 5,000 that would be added to this out of a different budget for really no work,
Which,
would be appetizing. It appetized me, I hate school, but for $5,000, I want to get my license.
right, no, I understand
And
that.
that comes out, so that would put, if our high range can be 84, I don't know if it can be, then that would appetize them to go get the wastewater, maybe we'll get somebody in that does have it, and then that would go up to 89, or whatever that budget can hold. It was at least 5.
Well,
well, he's on, yeah, and in his particular case, because I know we're all scratching our head, but I believe he's well on his way to that certification.
And that's fine, yeah.
Yeah, so it makes that number more
So
realistic.
right, and once that, whoever it is gets it, that's why I said you get it within a year, then they get that money. I
right,
guess they never failed, if they fail forever to get that wastewater and, but we like the rest of the job they're doing, and we're gonna have to work that lesser number, and the guy we got now will keep his $4,500. That's how I would look at it.
so,
Be an incentive to get after it.
so what are we putting for a range? We've gone round and around, what are we putting for a range?
Well, we gonna add that sewer number or not? That's why I started this conversation with that, 'cause
Well, I
that's a
don't-
big deal.
I don't know that you can, because
I
it
think you
says
gotta
you
know what
must.
the qualifications are, how, you know.
But you gotta put a number on there, because if there's no number, you're not even gonna get an application.
We have the qualifications, we can change these.
Number, I said number.
Right, no, she said you know what qualifications are. We got minimum ones and we got a job.
And then we go to the job description for the rest of it, right? But if you gotta put a salary range on there, or they're gonna walk right by
This
it.
is just put in the newspaper, so Naomi can put it out.
Right.
Wherever she wants and hopefully get somebody to put in. That's all this is. And the rest of it, they can call and she can give them the job, or whoever gives it, give the job description, and then when they come in, we'll interview and tell them what.
So,
Let's just get people to put their application in.
so what's the salary range we're gonna put on there? Is it 70 to 80? 70 to 85? What's the number? I think,
So if we do 85, so run it through, so given that that's coming from 2862, 2,080 hours a year, 500 a week out of that leaves 990. That turns out to be 51.5, which turns out to be straight up 24 an hour, which is
For a
not
mechanic?
accounting for, that doesn't account for insurance and benefits and whatnot.
Right.
So it'd have to be lower, maybe even 20. That's what we'd have left over to hire a mechanic.
good luck.
For what's
You're not
that?
gonna get a
Right.
good mechanic.
But back up though, I was listening to you last week on the,
So if Jason is pulling the mechanic's salary, yep, and he's pulling 500 a week from the director, which is 1490, that leaves 990.93. That is just sitting in the budget right now from the director line item. So 990.93 is what we would, if we just swap the titles around, that 990.93 is what we have left over to hire any other, really to hire
What's
the
that come
mechanic
out to an
position.
hour?
24,
24 an hour, but that does not account for.
FICA and all
yeah, but I
that.
don't think these do either.
But I don't.
So that would be the number. So it would be
I can
24 and
print it
change.
again.
Right, but I don't think that that's a valid
I
representation.
think that's 100% accurate.
No, I think, I
I'll just print it again.
think that we're sticking on the mechanic number for no reason. It's a director position,
Well, I'm
we're
just
we're
trying to look
hiring a
ahead
director.
to, no, but
Right.
it's what money will be left over if we go to, if, I feel like we're boxed in by what Jason is making as interim.
Mm-hmm.
That has to be within the range.
But again, that's doing multiple jobs.
Right, he's gonna, you get. I
So
mean,
you
he's
pull
gonna-
one job away, you are gonna get a reduction in pay. I think that
Right.
that's a realized,
Okay,
that's a
yeah.
realized topic.
Okay, okay.
You know, is it gonna be much? No. 3,000 to 4,000? Yeah, that's real numbers, 3 to 4, maybe 5,000. That's gonna be real numbers. But, to Benji's point, if he gets the sewer and the water,
Yep.
and gets that,
Get it right back.
we're right back to where we started.
So how much?
Right now, it's getting 84, but we're splitting between two positions.
Right.
We need to know if we can come up with 85 out of the budget.
I don't think
Feel
we can.
comfortable with it.
I don't think we
Oh,
can. I don't feel comfortable with that.
So, I think that's been the argument from the very beginning, that
I,
because
I
I've
think,
hung up also a little on the mechanics that leave that, say that 500 makes it down to 24.50 an hour, whatever it is, we gotta leave that for the mechanic, and it's gonna be hard to get a good mechanic for that.
you ain't
But
getting,
we can't take any less, I mean,
no. My thing is we post it from 73 to 80, depending on qualifications, and we see what we get. Because that's the numbers that we have. We know we have those numbers.
Right, you can't post for more than what you
We
got.
can't go, and even 80 is a little bit of a stretch, but I think we could make it happen. Right?
As long as you don't get default budget for the next 2 or 3 years.
Well, the budget number is what we have right there, exactly, so I think we could do
it's
it.
just we're in a spot where we're given more than that, and that's gonna be tough.
Yeah, and I don't disagree, but again, you're changing the job,
Right.
right? You're changing the job, so the new job is a little bit less money.
Probably should have never gotten that much
Well,
stipend.
that's water under the bridge
Yeah.
at this point.
No, we shouldn't be talking about somebody like that either.
Yeah,
That's,
that's
that
water
would
under the
be
bridge.
right after us.
Yeah, so,
But,
Just wanna make sure we had enough to.
but if you
advertise,
take,
that's
the
all.
director, his money is still there.
oh, yeah,
So you're taking the $500 a week out of the director's money. And if you
Right.
take 26 weeks out of the year,
mm-hmm,
you would have expended $38,764 right now,
right,
which you've got sitting there.
yeah,
You would have paid Jason if you had somebody in that position, right?
right,
So 26 weeks at $500 is $13,000. Out of that 38, you've still got sitting there
yeah,
for the director's position. Just saying.
so the money's there.
So what's that put us up to a total? That we could put.
Because if you swapped from one to the other,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
if you left that alone and found a mechanic, you're gonna just bump him down to the bottom number.
Yep.
Right? So you've paid him right along the way, and so you've got 1490.93 times, what is it, 25 weeks? 24 weeks?
Well, but so I thought this was a weekly number though,
It
not
is.
bi-weekly. Then it's 52 weeks.
No, so follow my path for a second. So 1490.93 times 52 would be a year.
Yep.
We haven't paid anybody but the stipend out of there because he's getting paid up in the hourly line.
No, I'm with, and that's
So
the same.
the 26 was half a year.
That's the same difference I got for the 24 an hour for a mechanic. Like, it is sitting there, but that's just because of the position we happen to be in. If things were
Right.
running smoothly, if we hired it all out,
That
then yeah, that's not
goes
money we
away.
can spend.
I'd be, it's just me, I'd be comfortable to have the range up to 85, and
That's fine.
if we gotta worry about hiring a truck driver, or, I mean, I guess we get the range on here now, but for a little less money and have a hard, you know, paying 84 now, I don't know how we offer less than what, a range less than that, and then the sewer is on the table at least start of next year, which would be an incentive
I
for
mean,
whoever.
to Ricky's point, we're saying the 85 includes a mechanic,
Yep,
at least part-time mechanic right now.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, yeah, a part-time
right.
full-up mechanic.
No, I get you. No, I understand what he's saying now, and that's fine, that's what we wanna go to, you guys wanna vote that, I'm not arguing, I just,
I would put
That's my
forward
opinion.
70 to 80 and call out right after that with a 5K for whatever we want to say, 5K for water, some kind of sentence within a year with applicant interest.
Huh.
I just wanted to be able to pick, yeah, that's fine, however you wanna word it. I just wanted to pick the high number and know that we can fit it within our budget, whatever that number is.
Right.
I don't care.
I know that, I'm glad we got this chart put together for tonight,
Yeah,
but I believe there's gonna be somewhat of a restructuring in responsibilities based on if we leave it as is, because just as Ben was a great equipment operator, even when he was director, he would jump in a piece of equipment on occasion and fill the void
Mhm.
for an equipment operator. What we currently have going on right now, I could easily see us having 2 assistant mechanics under the watch of the of a person with the skill set of a lead mechanic. Similar to Ben or someone of Ben's skill set would have two foremen or foreman operators that he could say, hang on a second, let me jump in there, I'll get this done in 5 minutes and I'll be out of here. So I understand the chart is black and white, but how this is all gonna be structured at the end of the day and what that pay scale is gonna be to get that mechanicking line in. Because we currently have an assistant mechanic, I don't see it here, but, we currently do have an assistant mechanic, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, it's not in here.
So, I'm not 100%, I think we can crunch these numbers as much as we want. The high is gonna be at the 85 number because we've set that standard. And then I think the
But we
low-
can't pay that. And going back to Ricky's point, you convinced me, I'm your cheerleader now. It's a different job.
Getting some
It's not a
pom-poms.
mechanic and a director.
Yeah, can't do both.
Right.
Okay.
So I think we posted 70 to 80 with the caveat in there about the sewer and water for an extra 5. And see what bites.
So Ben, this operator 3, this equipment operator 3, what are they operating?
Equipment operator, when I promoted somebody, I said run equipment, be able to run the equipment.
All the equipment over there? Grader,
Well, it was up to the director's,
Excavator.
it was up to the director's discretion.
but right now, we don't have a grader operator over there.
Somebody's working on it.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do.
They graded Duck Pond Road Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a promotion made.
Yeah. Oh, well,
I mean, these are positions and kind of getting away from it, I guess. These
Yeah.
are positions that, to me, the director can dictate. Kind of,
Yes.
I think maybe what you were
Absolutely.
touching on a little bit, maybe, and sorry, Jay, keep picking on you, but you're the guy in the position right now, maybe he sees fit, in his budget to, like you said, have 2 assistant mechanics, and since he has mechanical skills, he can just
Yeah,
be
backfill.
the guy.
Yeah.
I did it with the foreman when I hadn't promoted nobody. I wanted to eventually, but I didn't have anybody at the foreman title. The last couple of years, my foreman had left, and I just didn't have anybody trained up enough yet. So, to me, I guess that stuff's up to him. I just need to know on the bottom line what we can pay the
I think-
offer for the top number, so I don't get in trouble. And
I think it's 70 to
I'm fine
80.
with 70, I'm fine with 70 to 90. I don't, just as long as we don't get in trouble with it, that's all I
Yeah.
care.
I think 80 is the number that we top out at
I
for now.
don't think it's enough for the record, but I just.
Oh, and I don't disagree with that either. I think that's a valid statement. And then
Drop
if,
that money.
and then if we get the knockout that comes through the door, then we reassess with the 5,000 that we've got out there. I don't know. You know?
Well, and there are 2 possible paths that I see. We hire Jason from within. If we do that and we say your salary is going down from what it is today and you will no longer be the mechanic, then I don't think we can expect him to immediately oversee this mechanic position. I think we would have to revisit that,
Oh, I think we would too, but
start pulling some of that money out of that line.
it's still under his umbrella, regardless, as a director.
Yeah, it's just a little dangerous.
Oh, I'm not.
We expect you to do we are moving you up to director, we are moving you out of mechanic, but as director, you are expected to also be the mechanic for less money. That's a tough sell.
That is a
So
tough
that's
sell.
one of the paths. The other path is we hire somebody else,
Uh-huh.
and Jason remains in the mechanic position, and the stipend goes to the director. That's an easier, numbers path, more accurately, expectations. You know who's supposed to do what job.
But at the same token of time, for the last 7 months, he has been doing both.
Right.
I get it. That's why I'm saying the first path is a tricky one. If we're telling him, yep, you're promoted, you don't have
But
to do
it-
this job anymore because you're getting less money, but you also have to do that job sometimes.
Or we say you got the
Oversee it.
job and keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
A little
Yeah.
bit
And
higher.
we drop the interim off of it. It is what it is. I mean, again,
But then we've got, all I'm saying is then if we do that, that's a totally valid option. We will have to chop up this mechanic line and pull some of that money up here.
And that's fine. If we do, we have
And that may
to.
be what we do, we
That's
just
a-
worry about what we pay.
It's a
at the
conversation,
mechanic
it's just a
later.
conversation that once we have those top two candidates in front of us, what we do at that point.
Tonight, we gotta worry about the director, I
Posting.
think if
Yeah.
he finds if the mechanic position comes up, and we don't have enough money, then we worry about where we're finding the money then.
Yeah.
You know, I think in the next couple of years, when we go to the voters, we really need to
Bump the numbers.
look harder at the increase in this. I know it's always been a
Well, I think,
hard sell, but for tonight, we're trying to
I
get
think
somebody.
we do this, period.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, I
the
agree.
whole packet, well, except for those covered in collective bargaining, but the whole packet needs to be reassessed, right? As a wage adjustment rather than a 5%. Topic for another day, but,
We need to get that out so we can get either,
all right.
either
So-
take in term off or get somebody, so
So, all right.
they can move on in the department.
So I think-
with long-term goals.
I think in this posting, I think we knock off, the must possess or have ability to.
Where's this? Oh, must,
Yeah, I think we knock that section down. I think we can take that line out.
were you gonna put the caveat about the 5,000 for the,
Like right after the salary range.
cause that's gonna be enticing, $5,000 for something as easy as that.
Yeah.
That's the only reason.
But, yeah, and we can put it in there afterwards. I think the pre-employment is there, definitely. The background check, yes. Driving record, yes.
But if we're gonna put
So if
in,
they come to you with that, what are you gonna do?
Do with what? Yeah, because we can't start them day one, that's the problem. You can put in there as enticing, but
What
we're
if you get somebody with all those?
in with somebody right now for the moment. So,
I think
that's something that we
that's what
could, that's something that's short term though, because at the end of the year, we could probably find that.
but it's not today, it's not tomorrow,
Oh, yeah.
it's not when we hire.
But we
that's
have the money to do till December 31st.
Well,
And
I'm
then,
saying if somebody comes through the door with it now,
Right.
and you can't say,
Looking
well,
for the
can you
carrot.
hang on till January?
Yeah,
But you
looking for the
can.
carrot.
We absolutely can do that.
or we could give it to them.
As long as you're up front, you have to be upfront
We
about
could
it.
give them the 5,000, right?
Well, you got
No.
the contract
With
already
what
out,
money?
right?
Because we have all that money, and it's only till December. Where if you start somebody high that you don't have it, that's
I don't
that's
think,
forever, right, in the default budget. But we know, come December, whenever this other guy's contract is, that if we get someone with it, his contract gets dropped off and it takes over. So all we gotta do is worry from, it'll be July at the earliest before we hire someone, to December 31st to come up with $5,000. I'm confident we can come up with $5,000, if that were to be the case.
I don't think it's unreasonable to say, you come in somewhere in that 7880, and you've got 6 months to figure out this water thing, and then you're gonna start January 1st, whatever it is, and your 5K starts that day. when
Yeah, I
you
think that's
assume
real easy.
responsibilities. But you've got, you've
And the
just
other thing
got
is,
to
too-
learn it and transition over.
There's a probationary period
Right.
still stuffed in here, so it's not gonna be day one. I don't think. That's just me.
So I guess whole time, so all we're really hung up on is money. So if we're 70, 80 and caveat 5,000, that's fine.
A lot of what ifs.
It's really up to our discretion. I put in for a job one time that had all sorts of bachelor degrees and college degrees, and I threw it in the hat because I was interested and I got hired. So we don't
No,
have to
it's
go
understood.
by this.
It's understood.
Somebody come in with just a motorcycle license and we love them.
Yeah.
Let's not do
It's our
that.
power to hire them. I mean, it's just was to weed out the people that absolutely wouldn't be.
Right. So I think we'll read it as town of Weare is seeking applications and resumes for qualified individuals for the position of Public Works Director. This position is responsible for overseeing and participating in the daily function of the Highway Department, Transfer Station, and Sewer and Water. This position requires a minimum of high school diploma, Class B CDL with air brakes, road construction, maintenance experience, and operating, let's call it winter
Winter maintenance.
maintenance operations.
Well, you want them to be a plow.
I did think about that. I picked this because.
Yeah. I think,
I'm not
I-
hung
I-
up on that enough to argue about. I did consider that.
yeah,
But I
when,
put this in there hoping, get-
right. Well, I think winter maintenance operations covers a pretty broad category on that, so I think
Because
that's,
what I was trying to be right honest with you, I was trying to weed out with that, was the guy that's only ever plowed parking lots and driveways and thinks that he's gonna teach a new guy how to run a wing truck.
Right, no, I know.
That's what I was
get it.
trying to weed out.
I get it.
So, and I don't care. Again, it's the discussion
Yeah.
when they come for us.
Right.
That's why I put wing truck instead
Where'd
of
you
winter
put that,
operation.
what's your edit?
So, road construction and maintenance
Yep.
and experience in winter maintenance operations.
Okay.
We have that in the job description.
The,
Okay.
I just wonder if it,
And then-
cut to
and
the
then you're
chase,
gonna
is just
com-
a couple sentences out of the summary of the job description and make it short.
and that
And I
was,
thought of
and
that
that was
too,
that. Yeah, that's where pretty much where I was gonna end it.
You're gonna not include operation and maintenance of heavy equipment?
Yeah, that's in the
Nope.
job.
It's in the job.
It's in job description. So this is just the posting. So that's where I was gonna leave that, I was thinking of leaving that off.
Yeah.
Leaving off all the ability or possess. And then the boilerplate of must pass a pre-employment, the background check, possess a clean driving record. The supervisor management experience, I like that. I'd like to keep that in there.
Yeah.
I don't think that I think the job description answers the town administrator and who you answer to. So I don't think we need that in there.
No.
The salary range, we've talked about that for 20 minutes,
What is that?
70 to 80.
Are we putting the cap, because it makes a difference if
Now,
we're cutting
now
out
goes the caveat. Now goes the
'cause
caveat.
that makes a difference if we're gonna cut out the above piece, in my opinion.
That's in the job description, though.
So, we did.
So
put
we're
it in
gonna
the
say
job
we're gonna get $5,000 for,
Sewer and water is up in the top. You already said it.
I thought you cut that out.
No, I didn't cut that out. No. I left that, I left basically everything in the top except right to plow and wing driver. That's where I started changing things. I read everything verbatim right down.
All right,
So to me, the sewer and water is already in there,
all right,
my thought.
yep.
When we talked about the job description, we put in the stuff that you're cutting, and some of it was, we'll put a timeline in the
Mm-hmm.
job posting.
Yep.
And that's,
Um,
I'm not saying we need to leave it in there, that's what we talked about at the time. I think
Mhm.
it's okay to cut it out and have it as you read it,
mm-hmm.
but that's what we talked about doing. I wanna leave a gap.
I'm just wondering how you add it in there.
Yeah.
If we leave the sewer, I just think we need to put
I was
the
thinking
money we're offering for the sewer.
missing I wanna say, certifications that need to be, acquired will have a timeline of no longer than 1 year or 6 months or whatever. I don't know how you'd add that in there.
Yeah.
I'm just shooting at the dartboard blindfolded. I don't know how you'd add it in there. And to me, putting the 5K in there is, I understand why you're trying to put it in there. I can completely understand that. Putting it in there is gonna be very choppy.
Well, salary range, 70 to 80,000.
Mhm.
New sentence, another 5,000 is available to applicants with interest in, I don't know,
Team
water
solid-
operator.
Solid or wastewater. You're drinking and wastewater, whatever. I think it ought to,
Directly overseeing,
I only think it ought to be in there for two reasons. One, it puts $5,000 more because we
Yeah.
all say that's not
yeah,
enough.
we need every dollar we can.
Exactly.
Right.
And the other is we put in the top, or left in, sewer and water. So, I mean, on top, and I think it's fine. I think you can fit it under that as a caveat.
That's fine, again,
I didn't call it good.
so I don't know how you caveat it in there. I don't know.
Salary range 70 to 80, or whatever the number was for highway and transfer station, additional 5,000 for the.
How about we do
sewer
this, how about you
drinking-
go backwards? In other words, if they're gonna meet all the criteria as outlined in the job description, then you're at 85. If the person comes in and says they can't, then. we
You're at
can
80.
Them back down to 80.
You might lose them though, that way. If they had 6 months to gain the license, then you might get someone for 85.
But it's in the, but if they walk through the door meeting all the qualifications that are in the job description, you'd be happy to pay them the 85, right?
I feel comfortable with it because
If they
we know
came
we
in
can
with
come
all-
up with it
if they came-
2024.
If they came up with all, walked in with all of the certs and licenses and everything else, you'd pay them 85, right?
Mhm.
Per the job description.
But we can't day one because that 5K is allocated.
It's not gonna be available until January
It,
1st.
it could be. Because even if we're at default 2024, the money would be opened up then.
Okay. I think we'll cross
Scares
that,
me.
we can cross that bridge if it happened.
Mm-hmm.
But it takes the problem of how do we craft this into what should really be just the summary from the job description.
So just put the number to 85? Is that what you're
Yeah.
saying? Just put the salary number
Without a
to
second sentence.
70 to 85 instead of the second sentence?
Yes, assuming they meet all the conditions of the job description.
Fine, yep, fine.
I don't know, it scares me when you say, we'll find the money somewhere. Can't always keep finding money.
Yeah, it's,
Well,
Because the money's there, I guess is what I'm trying to
in
say.
2024 it'll be there.
2024, the money will be there.
You do a salary range within DOQ after it too.
Yeah,
Because
Depending on
that person
qualifications.
yeah, I like
can be
that.
dropped off.
You can put that in there too. Do you do the 70 to 85 DOQ,
Comma DOQ, which is depending on qualifications.
depending on qualifications, right? That you're out,
Yeah.
so.
We're not trying to find that extra 5,000 for forever, say we went default. It would be just till
23,
23.
just 23, that's all I
I
want.
guess I'm confident for the next, and it wouldn't be 5,000 anyway, because we're halfway through the year, so.
Right, and you've got 3 vacancies.
It'd be $2,500 or whatever.
And I
till
think
December, so.
it leaves you room to negotiate with your current asset
Right, agreed.
that you currently have in place to say, okay, the reduction is for this reason,
But you can get back to,
and when you get to those certs, then you're at that, back to that pay scale.
so I think,
Does that work?
I think 70 to 85 DOQ is gonna work. Because again, like these guys are saying, it's 24, the money's gonna be
I
there.
couldn't agree with you more. You can't just always find money, but the money is there. We just, in 2024.
In
We
24.
just cannot write a check to re-up that 5K to somebody else.
Correct.
And we
Right.
cannot do that.
No, and that's understood, right,
Okay,
right, so. But again, if you put the DOQ on there,
that's fine.
I think that covers you if, for some reason, 24, the candidate cannot fulfill it.
Well, I think what you should
They'll
do
have it.
is, we should run the ad and get it started. And then at that point, when you're sitting down and have interviewed people and you got a number in your mind, have Beth run the numbers
Right.
both for 23 and 24, looking at what you have if 24 ends up a default.
Well, what's the number we're gonna put on the sheet
No,
tonight?
you pick something. I
Yeah,
mean, you've already picked
75,
something.
yeah, we are.
But I'm just saying, when you get down to the end of it and you've decided, well, what if we offer this? What does it look like for 24? If we get a default, let her run her numbers.
Right,
I mean,
A lot of
that's,
time for a position like that, you might have 2 interviews, or you might negotiate, might get negotiating back from the person. You know,
Right.
It might not be,
right.
so. But starting point, you gotta get in the paper so we can get headed on it.
Yeah, Salem, I think the likelihood of anybody walking through
With-
the door to
with the full
meet all
qualification
those
sheet.
qualifications that are gonna pull that
0 to
85
slim.
number is slim at best. It also gives us the
Negotiation.
avenue to renegotiate with the current asset. Does that make sense without mentioning any names or?
Yeah, it makes sense. I just, like, does it make sense that I don't want to gamble with money we don't have?
But we're not. Well,
But
we're
we-
currently spending money we don't
But,
have.
but when you hand out, the one Naomi just shared with us, their bottom was 90. So you're
90 to
saying, you're
140.
saying a rock star won't walk in at 85. It wasn't a rock star over there, that was the slum, making 90. And so then that same guy could say, well, I live in Weare, I don't want to drive all the way over there, I'll come over here and make 85, that's fine with me.
Exactly, but
Yeah, it's cooling off.
we don't, we aren't, our current situation allows us some flexibility. We're going through a process which I have questioned since the onset of this. I mean, I wanted a job description, so I have something to hold an employee accountable to. But we're going through this process with a current asset in place that none of us have been disappointed in such a way that we would say, we're looking for the exit for that individual. So that's gonna be our very first applicant.
Yeah.
So I think it works on both sides. I don't see us, the money is in the budget for what we're currently compensating that individual for that
For
was
23.
negotiated under crises. It's in the budget of the DPW, okay?
Because of vacancies.
Exactly,
Mhm.
exactly. But in a negotiation, we would bring it back down into a number.
No, I get it. I mean, that's what we've been talking about for half an hour. I get it.
Right.
I get it.
Right.
Don't, like, I get it.
Right, but we're not spending money we don't have.
But we're
That's
not
what I'm
spending money
saying.
we don't have.
That's what I don't like.
At
That's
80,
what I'm-
I think at 85, you feel we're spending money we don't
Yeah.
have. 80, we're good. 80,
If we
we're
say-
okay.
Yeah. If
But
we were to
85,
say-
we're spending potentially where we don't
Because
have.
we are making a lot of assumptions. What if he says, well, you know what, I really like my 85?
Mm-hmm.
What are we gonna do?
Yeah, we don't have that, yeah.
That's why I guess I was stuck on adding that
Right.
sewer in there for 5,000, which this year would only
That's the
be
caveat.
15, not 2,500 or 2,000. I guess that was what, because I agree with you. Ain't gonna happen, but we could say, well, you get a little bit of time to hurry up, get the wastewater.
Yeah.
Unless we have a contract goes beyond December 31st, at January 1st, then
We're up, yeah.
or 6 months, whatever we tell that person, then it's there.
Yeah.
I completely
get-
agree with only having
I
80,000
get what
budget
the
for director and we
likely
put
path is and what will likely happen. I just don't wanna.
want it to be sure.
We have boxed ourselves into this problem with the mechanic, whatever, and I just don't wanna,
Right,
Yeah.
we have an opportunity not to do that.
yeah.
So do we post it at 73 to 80 and just leave it there and see what we get? For now.
Sure.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I don't care.
I think that,
I think,
That's the safe bet, right? That is
We're
the safe
asking for
number.
the sewer, we're cutting the sewer money out of it.
I'm okay putting the 85 there, but we cannot pay that twice. That's all I'm saying.
No, and we don't plan on it.
Yeah.
But if we get nobody to
Well,
apply,
yeah.
you're on a path for 85 anyway.
Right. Oh, absolutely, yeah.
If you get no one to apply at 80,
Yeah,
you're on a
that
path for 85.
Right. So, I think it's, yeah.
Or we're on a path for a discussion of,
Where we get money.
or responsibilities.
Right, there you go, yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right, so 35 minutes later, what are we putting in there? 70 to 85 or 70 to 80?
I vote the 85.
That's fine.
Okay, we'll put 85 in there. And then full job description and details, et cetera, I think that's fine. I think the last paragraph is boilerplate, so does that make sense to you?
Well,
To be, well, no, I was asking Salem if it makes sense to you to type it up, you said you were gonna do that.
I can't, or if you want to just hang out a couple minutes and just compare notes on
Sure.
commas and whatever.
I mean, yeah, I wasn't, honestly, I was scribbling and just you guys start changing your mind, so I stopped
Yeah,
scribbling.
exactly, I don't blame you.
The only thing I wanted to confirm with you, did you cut the must be able to pass pre-employment drug screen?
No, I did not
Okay,
cut
great.
that.
Then
No.
I think we're on the same page.
No, so I read it as, well, town of Ware is seeking applications and resumes for qualified individuals for the position of Public Works Director. This position is responsible for overseeing and participating in the daily function of the Highway Department, Transfer Station, Sewer, and Water. This position requires a minimum of a high school diploma and a valid Class B CDL with air brakes. Road construction maintenance experience, comma, and winter maintenance operations. Must be able to pass the pre-employment drug screening, background check, and possess a clean driving record. Must have previous supervisor and management experience. Position, salary range 70 to 85. A full job description and details of the benefits may be obtained from town administrator, 15 Millions Memorial, blah, blah, blah. submit applicant cover, et cetera, equal opportunity employer. That sound fine?
Sure.
Good enough.
I don't think whoever's applying is gonna be,
Yeah, nitpicking it,
they're not gonna be.
nitpicking it
Now
that
that
bad.
you've read it through, I've caught up with you.
Okay, good, all right.
And Sam, do you wanna, if you want, you can just pass on the grammatical corrections to her and you can go home and rest. 'Cause
Well,
she-
when him reading it, I just crossed out, I was crossing out and changing because you guys were talking different things.
But he had, I mean, you can delegate this to our town administrator.
Yeah, I would, I'll hang out 2 minutes, make sure we got the same edits.
Gotcha.
Okay, and she's already got informed, so.
Yeah.
All right, one comment before we leave this topic. There was a comment made, I did pick up on it, that our intern does not know what he's doing down there. And I think that's a false statement. I think he's done a great job in the last 8 months. I think he's done a hell of a job. So,
So do I, and I don't believe it was appropriate in the forum.
okay. So, all right,
Are we gonna do this tonight?
we're gonna move on to
If everybody's read it, that takes a second.
the worksheet.
The exemption.
I think that's what I was gonna move to, and then I was gonna drift off into the sunset, nightfall, whatever.
You guys
Yeah.
don't have edits on this?
Huh? No, I said we were gonna go over that. That's what I was gonna say, yeah. So, I just gotta find it.
Yeah,
I know I have it.
I do too.
I know I have it. Somewhere in this
Okay.
pile of junk. Kinda invading Benji's space over here. There it is. Got it.
Yeah,
Got it.
I don't reckon it's in line with it.
That's the new version, this is the different version.
Yeah, the first top one is all we've ever used. And then the second one I gave you is the new one that they thought provided a little more information, but.
Well, I think we did this with welfare, and not too long ago, where I think it was Karen rewrote it, right? And we're not, again, this is not trying to limit or eliminate anybody, I guess I should say. It's just to make sure that when we do this, it is by the letter of the law. That's all.
And less back and forth. And-
Yeah, exactly. I think that's really all it,
Eliminates the loopholes,
Yeah.
this is just like, like the government wanna know if you want to apply for SNAP.
right, so, I see red pen.
I had a couple of comments.
I see red pen to my left.
All right, go ahead.
I'll keep it quick.
Are you on the updated one?
Yes.
Okay.
So on the first page, major section income at the bottom of that, those come straight from one of the RSAs. I don't remember what, maybe it's 7230, whatever it is. But the RSA has them in a different order. Our number 2 is number 1. Our number 3 is number 2. Our number 1 is number 3. I think it makes sense to put those in the same order as.
So just roll them around to match the
So
RSA.
are you under total income but above
Correct.
total
To
combined?
deduct proceeds,
Yes.
deduct life
Yes.
insurance.
Okay, and can you give me that number list?
So
again? Sorry.
number 1 should be deduct life insurance. Number 2 should be deduct expenses and costs. And number 3 should be deduct proceeds.
Makes sense?
And that's just to line it up with,
Yeah, that's fine.
yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Otherwise, just broadly, for, for something that's an elderly exemption, the font size dropped significantly.
All of it or which part?
Well, all of it, because it's a lot, I mean, it's good information to collect. I just don't know if maybe it's worth making it
Bumping
an
a
extra
font or two?
page. Yeah.
Bumping in a font or two and make it extra, yeah.
It's just kind of like it's dense. Again,
Or-
I'm not saying we should drop any information.
Oh, yeah, could we change the orientation? Would that
Yeah,
help it?
That might work.
That might help
I'm
it.
thinking like, so the other part was, if it were me, I'd prefer the qualification, the stuff that's at the end, I feel like should go at the very front of, hey, before you start filling out 4 pages of stuff, you should make sure you're qualified.
Kinda like the existing has it around page 1. It's right on the front, right in the middle, right? Elderly income limits, assessment limit, et cetera.
Well, like, must be, this is from the RSA, must be 65 years of age, must be owner of record,
Oh,
must, all
yeah.
that stuff. And if you don't meet any of those, don't bother sitting down with all your paperwork.
So basically, right, would you put it above
Right here.
or below the owner 1, owner
Down on
2?
the last page.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I think it should go first, the qualifications, like, this is what you're doing.
What's the order of?
Yeah, I would put qualifications, required documents, and the income limits and the exemption amount. first.
So.
But would you
so
put that
take
under this?
off, Make this your first page,
Yeah,
then you start off with the rest of it.
I
Exactly.
think that's fine, though I would,
And then at the end, you have to sign it.
and I would put the qualifications and required documents at the very top. Like, don't even bother looking at this if you don't meet these 5
Okay.
bullets.
So basically, yeah, so put those at the top, then put the owner one, owner two, et cetera, right?
Yep,
Okay, and then basically just flip it and put it,
yep, yep.
Keep rolling
That's
through.
it.
You go
That's-
first.
That's all I had.
This is first, and the signature page.
but you had, Salem did have an order though on the, what was it again?
I mean, and again, this is just what I put. Qualifications first, required documentation second, so then you're ready to go, like, yep, I have all this, and then the income limits and the exemption amount, so it's just the bottom, moving to the top.
Yeah,
That makes sense?
but then start, can I just make sure so start with this and then move this to the back page? Because then use your confidential
Yeah.
for
That's the
page
back page.
two?
Yep,
Yeah,
Okay,
pull a staple
I did.
and flip one page. No, it's,
well, and
Oh.
reorder.
Right, because you get to the end and then you realize, do I qualify
Yeah,
or
and it's
not?
like, oh, that was
I would say
awful.
99% of the time, the son or daughter
He's gotta fill it out,
is filling this thing out,
Right.
by the way. I bet.
50%
then
plus.
Then they're done that with the
Yeah.
old form.
But I don't disagree, like you said, you read through that and you go, oh, I'm not, and,
Yeah.
yeah, I just didn't fill a bunch of paperwork
Yeah,
out,
and I
nothing.
just- I was on
Okay.
Vanguard for half an hour, whatever.
So if we make those, is the board good with that? If we make those moves and.
I mean, I can
and
bring it back to next
sessions.
Monday.
Yeah, Monday,
But this isn't due till next April, so.
well, and that's fine, but I
We
think
can get it
that
off the table.
the sooner we get off our schedule and off our table, the better.
Yeah.
That's all. So, no, I'm thinking if we make the flips as suggested by Salem,
Mm-hmm.
and is the board good with it?
I'm good with it, yeah.
I'm good with it.
I am.
Maybe we just get,
A
maybe just,
much more thorough form, and I think Salem is absolutely 100% right chronologically.
yeah,
pages
it makes
back.
sense to change it. So maybe Naomi just sends us over a revised copy at some point.
Sure.
And then we just mention it maybe under your report.
Sure.
Does that make sense? Just yeah, the board received it, we already approved it, thank you very much, knock it off.
Sure.
I like when we knock it off the list like that, so.
Yep.
All right, it is 8:45, we obviously,
Can I just do the last one, because it was pretty simple.
oh, okay, yeah.
So I reached out on the listserv and I heard back from six
Oh,
towns. It's not any different than what we do it, so I just, I'm not sure where it happened to fall through the cracks, but, so Guilford, Haverhill, Plymouth, they all the right to know requests go to the town administrator, and then depending on what's asked for, it goes and disseminated for response. Everything comes back to him or her, and then they disseminate like I did.
so basically the same way we've been doing it.
Yeah, and so, and Durham does the same. Keene does it a little bit more, but Keene has,
Town manager,
Keene
right?
just said to me, she said, we have so many that we have a form. It's submitted to the clerk's office, to the record keeper. He circulates to the appropriate department. IT then searches our emails. They collect the information that goes to the city attorney's office. That office does the redacting and gives the final documents back to the clerk's office to be distributed to the requester.
Yeah, but they've got a lot of positions that can do
And it
that.
says it's expensive and takes way too long, so, but I think, just to know, I guess,
That others are doing it
that
similar we
others
are.
are doing it similar. I mean, I put it out to everybody and got 6, there's 214 of us, so.
So, I guess we're not far out of line.
We're not, it's just, I just wish I knew what fell through the crack, and I might just reach out.
Okay.
See who didn't give me what someone else got.
That's fine. right.
Before we adjourn.
No, so I just want to follow up on that. Is the board comfortable with that as the policy?
And maybe we change our form, I could get their forms and see what they use.
Yeah.
Because we have a really,
I'd be
we have
curious
about
to see.
this much of a form.
Because that might have a purpose on it that says A, Z, this is what you do, type thing. And we
I can
can,
ask the 6, say, hey, could you share your form?
yeah, I think that'd be good. And that might, like I said, that might have the purpose, I say purpose, but the procedure on it. And then further down, it's basically our form.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, I'm wondering,
Thank you.
so,
Minute applications.
yes.
Yes, so I have 4.
Uh-huh.
When do you want to do them?
I think that could that should, to me, be an off night.
So just to let you know, next week I'm here Monday and Tuesday, then I'm not here Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yep.
So, at the same time, I have 2 building inspector ones. Do you wanna do all 6 on the night of the 26th?
I think that's probably a good
What
idea.
night's that?
It's a Monday night,
You
I'm
can
just
do that.
trying,
2 weeks from now.
Yeah,
You'll be back by then, right?
move that to the top of.
yeah, it's just, we have Monday, and then Board of Fire Awards has Tuesday, and then I'm out of town Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yeah, no, I
And I'm
think,
back Monday, but we could do them, that's our work session
Put that
night.
on top of work session.
put right at 6:30.
That's our work
Yeah.
session, and we can just schedule them.
Hang them right off
One
at
night.
6:30.
And just so so I had, 4 originally,
Mhm.
and if I get the last 2, one had admitted that he probably wouldn't apply. But if I get another one for the building inspector,
Yeah,
both
throw
of
more in
them
the
have
pot.
some pretty good experience, but I could just have you, we'll incorporate them all that night.
Okay, yeah, I think that's a great idea. Just,
Could you-
now we knock them out.
Could you copy us all of the applicants,
Yeah, and I'll,
all the applications?
yeah,
Not-
yeah, I'm not gonna copy
not
the
the
ones
fil-
that didn't
not the-
supply
Yeah,
directions.
not the filtered ones, all the applications,
Oh, you want them all, even that didn't follow direction?
yes.
Okay.
Appreciate that. Yeah, I think that's fair.
The only reason being
Mhm.
is, I mean, I just wanna see what that qualification was, if somebody's missed a
Yes,
step, but they're.
Yeah, so what I did is I asked for 3 things, or actually I asked for the cover
We've had
letter,
this
yeah.
happen before.
Yeah,
I
sorry.
understand it, but I wanted.
Yeah.
I'd like to take a look at all.
Yeah.
Never hurts to have too
Okay.
much.
Okay,
And just real quick, I talked to Rick about this, the town clerk asked me to put a proposal together to fix the front ramp, handicap ramp. Is that something we really wanna write an RFP on right now?
what's wrong with it?
Yeah, what's wrong with
It's
it?
broken.
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, the
wear and
railing's
tear.
been backed into,
Yeah,
it's
it's been backed
broken.
into
It gets worse every time
I
Yeah.
guess that's,
It's
does
like-
it need to be replaced or repaired?
No, you look at the underside of it, it's pretty raw. It's getting to the point where,
Who
We,
built
throw
we
my-
put, we put salt on it.
yeah, you're throwing good money at bad.
You know, it's just to try to keep it from being slippery.
Yeah, you're throwing good money at bad if you, I think.
What's that?
If you start to repair that, you're
Oh.
throwing good money at bad.
Well, my only yeah, I didn't know how bad it was.
Stop and look at it and we'll talk about it
I
Monday.
mean, it's been a while since it's been built, and I'm sure.
Yeah, it's,
Dave, you-
Dave Hewitt.
Didn't know,
Who did?
did he do
guess
it?
I'm
I know
wrong.
that, when it was back, it's been a while, that the community service program did all the
Oh.
painting.
Okay.
yeah.
I thought Dave, you did,
I
but
thought
I could
Dave
be
did it.
wrong.
I thought I saw him
I
out
thought
here.
Dave Fright built it.
I thought that was way back when my
Yeah.
brother was there.
Yeah,
Like, way
yeah,
back.
I wouldn't doubt Dave had built that. I mean,
I
it's,
don't know
it's
that.
built very well, but it's just, time is
Probably
taking
got
its
20
toll.
years on,
Yeah,
15.
at minimum. It's been there since I remember coming here, register my stuff, so it's 15 plus. Yeah,
Probably
Yeah,
since
it's been a
probably
while,
since
though.
they mandated ADA.
Probably.
right. So,
It would have to be.
again, but to look into it, I think we need to look for a permanent rather than, I mean, that, wood has a timeline, right? But, I mean, you see a lot of these residents that
Is it-
have the aluminum ramps put in,
Yeah, my
you
mom.
know, and obviously they're being put in for, obviously, I
And they've
think
got
some kind
some
of a.
grippy tape to it.
Yeah, they've got a texture to them, so I think that might be the route that we
Yeah, I don't
take.
care how we go, Tom. I mean,
Yeah,
it doesn't matter, I guess we'll do. Is there,
We'll find money.
is it, is
it's
there,
government buildings fund for that.
is there,
I like that was good, we'll find the money.
is there anything that is like against code right now that could be nailed together, or is it just needs to be replaced?
No, there's a broken section of rail from plowing.
Yeah.
There's a couple of boards that are twisted up that could be considered trip hazards.
Is it something that we probably?
You could probably
we'd
repair
get
it
a handyman to repair it.
short
and then-
money.
For short money, and then we can talk about putting real money into it. I mean, if
I think, yeah, I think we could repair it for a couple bucks to get it to usable, full use
So
again.
his question was, are you putting on RFP, or are we just looking for?
I don't think we put
someone
out an
else?
RFP, if it was just a,
But I think, well, I think that, take a look at it before we close the mind on it.
because I have no idea, all right.
Well, I think you all should take a look at it.
Yeah, yeah, everybody kinda take a look at it and see what you think. Again, it's weathered. Well built, but it's weathered.
The big question's gonna be, what's the longevity of the building? You know, like, are we planning on being here for the next 40 years in this building?
This
And if we are,
Yes,
Building?
approximately.
Well, probably for 15.
well, we gotta it really should be, I mean, the aluminum idea is a good idea as far as, but,
But are we talking concrete?
and that would have to be a custom installation, and so I just don't know if you go down the concrete route.
I guess we could talk about it more. I wanna know if it needs to be fixed now, is that
And
ain't
we
gonna
just
happen?
purchased an aluminum one for my mother.
Yeah.
We
It's
just
got
gotta
the-
keep in mind
It's
that,
got the grip tape is what I
we
call
gotta
it.
keep in mind that the highway department is usually the ones that have to take care of the slipperiness and they use salt. And wood takes it better than concrete or aluminum.
All of us in here shared.
What
Well,
about,
I think that's worth arguing about later. We should look at it, if it's something we need to have a contractor, a couple $100 for the highway to come down and nail a couple boards down so there isn't an accident tomorrow.
That's, I think, what
If
we
we're
need to do.
notified
yes.
about an accident, we need to either fix it or rope it off.
Yeah.
because maybe
If
it'd be a lot
wheelchair's
cheaper
gonna fall
to
through,
do
then we
track.
need to rope it off.
Yeah, it could be.
If it's just a railing, we probably get it fixed, and then we can discuss.
We just repair it for now, but yeah, we definitely gotta discuss it, so.
All right.
All right,
I don't know if my head-
entertain?
Make a motion that we
Adjourn.
adjourn.
I like the idea.
Sam, you got something on your
Yes.
mind?
I was at Chase Park this weekend. Everybody, you know, we got new hires. Everybody's great. I would just ask if you're gonna go down there, please don't yell at a bunch of teenagers.
Yeah, and that's gonna be the running problem, unfortunately, is, you know, we've tasked them with a job right down there. They're only trying to do what they've been told, and yet we have these angry members of public coming in, doing exactly what you said, right?
Yep.
So-
What's the problem? I'm sorry, mister.
It was, in this particular case, it was somebody with a boat registration issue. And they preferred to not follow the rules and preferred to get angry with the staff, rather
Yelling
than,
at teenagers. Is that what you
Right.
said? Yeah.
yeah.
Call the police.
Yeah, let's hope that they would, people could,
It's unbelievable.
patience.
Yeah, patience.
That's it.
Okay.
All right, good.
All right, I heard a motion to adjourn.
I second that.
I heard a second now. Is there any discussion on it? I don't think there would be. All in favor? Yes.
Aye, aye.
All right, so, we just gotta,
Wait, wait.
yep.